Hello guys, welcome to Saiyan What Ifs. So in this video, we will see, what if Goku was born legendary? If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1. Golden Legacy. The birthing chamber fell silent as the infant's first wail echoed against sterile metal walls. Not the typical lusty cry of a Saiyan newborn, but something sharper, a sound that made the medical attendants exchange uneasy glances. The child's dark hair shimmered with gold flecks that appeared and vanished like dying stars, and when he opened his eyes, emerald flashes pierced through their natural onyx color. Inform King Vegeta immediately, the chief medical officer commanded, his scouter beeping frantically as it struggled to provide consistent power readings from the newborn. And summon Bardock. He should witness what his bloodline has produced. Outside the medical facility, Bardock stood at the observation window overlooking the red-tinged landscape of planet Vegeta. Battle-hardened and weary, he'd returned from a planetary conquest mere hours ago, only to be summoned to the birthing center where his mate Jine had delivered their second son. Something in the medical officer's tone had set his warrior instincts on edge. Bardock. The voice behind him belonged to Paragus, another mid-level warrior whose own son had been born days earlier. There are whispers throughout the complex about your newborn. Bardock didn't turn. What whispers? They say he shows the marks. The golden flecks, the green flashing eyes. Paragus lowered his voice. The marks of the legendary Super Saiyan. A muscle tightened in Bardock's jaw. Every Saiyan knew the ancient prophecy, a warrior born with unprecedented power, destined to either elevate their race to universal dominance or destroy it completely. For generations, it had been dismissed as mere mythology, a story to inspire young warriors during their brutal training. Nonsense, Bardock muttered, though uncertainty gnawed at him. He'd been experiencing strange visions lately, flashes of a golden-haired warrior standing amid destruction, of Frieza cowering in fear, of planet Vegeta exploding into cosmic dust. The medical chamber door slid open, and the chief officer gestured Bardock inside. See for yourself. The infant lay in a specialized containment pod, monitoring equipment surrounding him. Unlike normal Saiyan babies who were immediately placed in development chambers, this child remained under direct observation. When Bardock approached, the baby's eyes opened, dark irises suddenly illuminated by emerald light that receded as quickly as it had appeared. His power readings are inconsistent, the medical officer explained, displaying the erratic measurements on a nearby screen. They spike without warning, exceeding levels we've seen in elite adult warriors, then return to what would be expected of a third-class infant. Bardock stared at his son. What is his designation? Kakarot. The officer handed Bardock a data pad. We've already received orders from above. He's to be kept under observation rather than sent off-world for the usual infiltration mission. That was unprecedented. Low-class Saiyan infants were typically dispatched to distant, low-threat planets to prepare them for conquest. The practice culled the weak and tempered the strong. Exceptions were made only for elite bloodlines or special cases. King Vegeta wants to see him, the officer added quietly. Bardock's fingers tightened around the data pad. As soon as the child stabilizes. Later that night, Bardock slipped into the medical facility. Jine waited inside, her face drawn with worry as she stood over their son's pod. They're saying things, Bardock. Dangerous things. Her voice trembled, unusual for a Saiyan female. If he truly bears the marks of the legend. Bardock placed a hand on the transparent shield covering Kakarot. Then Frieza will destroy him, and possibly all of us, to eliminate the threat. Their eyes met in silent understanding. The Saiyans might serve as Frieza's conquest force, but they were never trusted. A potential Super Saiyan would be a threat the tyrant would not tolerate. I've been having visions, Bardock admitted. I see Frieza destroying our planet. I see our son facing him, transformed into something beyond our understanding. Jine's breath caught. Your visions have never been wrong. No. Bardock's expression hardened, which is why we must act now, before the king or Frieza decide Kakarot's fate. As if responding to his father's voice, Kakarot's eyes flickered open. Emerald light briefly illuminating his tiny face before fading back to normal. One small hand pressed against the transparent barrier, directly over Bardock's palm. "He knows," Jine whispered. "Even as an infant, he understands." Bardock made his decision. "Prepare an unauthorized space pod. We'll program it for Earth, a distant planet with compatible conditions but primitive technology. Frieza considers it worthless." "They'll stop us," Jine argued. "The launch bays are monitored." "Not all of them." Bardock's eyes narrowed. "There's an old emergency bay in the southern complex. Still functional but rarely used. I can override the security protocols." Jine nodded, determination replacing fear. "When?" "Tomorrow. Before King Vegeta's scheduled inspection." Nate, her spoke what both understood. This act was treason against both their king and Frieza. The penalty would be death. The following day brought chaos. Bardock's visions intensified as he prepared the emergency space pod, installing additional protective systems and programming the navigation to Earth. When the alarms blared across the complex, he knew his premonitions were becoming reality. "Frieza's ship has entered orbit," a fellow warrior reported, panic edging his voice. "All elite forces have been recalled to the palace." That was unusual enough to confirm Bardock's fears. Frieza never recca LLED troops without explanation unless he planned something catastrophic. Moving quickly through back corridors, Bardock made his way to the medical center. The staff had abandoned their posts during the alert, leaving Kakarot unattended. The infant seemed aware of the danger, his cries softer than normal, eyes tracking Bardock's movements as the warrior disabled the POD's security systems and lifted his son. "You'll remember who you are," Bardock said firmly, placing a small data chip against the child's temple. The Saiyan memory imprinter, normally used for military briefings, flickered as it transferred basic information, language, Saiyan history, combat instincts, and recognition of his heritage. Not a complete transfer, but enough that the child would grow up knowing his origins. Wrapped in a regulation blanket, Kakarot remained unusually quiet as Bardock carried him through empty corridors. Outside, the red sky had darkened with the silhouettes of Frieza's armada. Jine waited at the emergency launch bay, her face pale. "They're saying Frieza plans to destroy the planet." King Vegeta attempted an audience and was executed on the spot. Bardock nodded grimly. "My visions were true, then." They worked quickly to secure Kakarot in the small pod. The child's eyes flashed emerald again as Bardock programmed the final coordinates. "He needs to survive," Bardock told his mate. "If he truly is the legendary Super Saiyan, he may be the only one who can avenge our race and defeat Frieza." Jine pressed her forehead to the POD's window. "Live, Kakarot, grow strong. Remember who you are, but find your own path." The first explosions rocked the facility before they could say more. Frieza's attack had begun. With a final desperate push, Bardock launched the pod, watching as it accelerated rapidly beyond the atmosphere. Narrowly evading the first wave of destructive energy Frieza was raining upon the planet. "Go," he whispered, even as the walls began to collapse around them. "Become the legend." His last vision, as debris crushed down upon him and Jine, was of a golden-haired warrior standing triumphant, his son, transformed into something beyond even Saiyan understanding. E-space pod hurtled through the darkness between stars, its tiny occupant preserved in stasis as programmed knowledge filtered into his developing mind. Occasionally, the child's eyes would open, Florida's hing emerald in response to some cosmic stimulus only he could sense. The POD's systems registered these power fluctuations, automatically adjusting the stasis field to compensate. Inside the infant's developing consciousness, fragmented information formed the foundation of an identity: Kakarot, son of Bardock, Saiyan warrior. Images of a red planet, of beings with tails and fierce pride, of combat and conquest. But also, unexpectedly, emotions transferred in Bardock's final moments: pride, hope, and something rarely acknowledged among their kind: love. These contradictory elements swirled in the child's mind as the pod traversed the void, heading toward a blue planet whose inhabitants knew nothing of Saiyans, Frieza, or the cosmic conflict that had just altered the universe's balance of power. Earth's night sky blazed momentarily as the alien object streaked through the atmosphere, trailing fire before crashing into a remote mountain range. The impact shook the forest, sending wildlife fleeing in panic and creating a smoldering crater half buried amid ancient trees. Son Gohan had lived alone in these mountains for decades, finding peace in solitude after years of martial arts mastery and worldly adventures. The explosion drew him from his small home, his weathered face illuminated by the distant glow of disturbed earth and broken trees. What manner of storm brings fire from heaven? The old master wondered, making his way carefully down the forest path. The crater revealed itself gradually as Gohan approached, a perfect circle of scorched earth with a metallic sphere at its center. Steam rose from the object's surface as it cooled, and with a pneumatic hiss, a section of the sphere irised open. Gohan tensed, decades of martial arts training preparing him for potential danger. Instead, a child's cry echoed from within the pod, not fearful, but demanding, almost imperious in its intensity. A baby, Gohan murmured in disbelief, peering cautiously into the open hatch. The infant inside stared back, his dark eyes momentarily flashing an impossible green. A brown tail flicked irritably behind him as his cries intensified. Gohan had seen many wonders in his long life, but nothing like this. Carefully, he reached into the pod, lifting the child. "Where did you come from, little one? And what are you?" The baby's cries softened as he examined the old man's face. Something in the infant's expression seemed unnervingly aware, an intelligence beyond his apparent age, assessing and calculating. "You're no ordinary child," Gohan said softly. "But you need care, regardless of where you came from." As he turned to carry the infant home, the old master noticed a small data tablet attached to the pod's interior, covered in symbols he didn't recognize. He took it anyway, tucking it carefully into his robes alongside the strange child. "I'll call you Goku," Gohan decided, the name coming to him suddenly. "Son Goku, until we discover who you truly are." The infant's tail wrapped around Gohan's wrist, grip surprisingly strong, and for just a moment, the old master wondered what force of destiny had brought this strange child to his doorstep. The challenges began immediately. Unlike normal infants, the child Gohan named Goku displayed extraordinary strength from the earliest days, breaking furniture and even damaging the walls of Gohan's modest home. More disture. Bing was his temperament, aggressive beyond normal childhood tantrums, with fits of rage that seemed to trigger alarming physical transformations. His eyes would flash emerald, his dark hair would momentarily gleam with gold highlights. And the air around him would crackle with energy that Gohan, sensitive to ki from decades of training, recognized as potentially catastrophic. "Control, Goku," Gohan would say firmly, unflinching even when the child's tantrums shook the foundations of his home. Power without control is merely destruction. Raising the boy required every ounce of Gohan's martial arts discipline and wisdom. He quickly realized ordinary childrearing methods would be insufficient. Instead, he adapted his martial arts training into a system of discipline appropriate for a child with extraordinary abilities. Most puzzling was Goku's apparent knowledge. Though just learning to speak properly, he would sometimes mutter words in a language Gohan didn't recognize. At night, Gohan often found the boy staring at the stars with an expression of mingled longing and confusion, as though searching for something lost. "Moon," Goku had said clearly one night, pointing upward with surprising precision toward the full moon rising over the mountains. "Yes, that's the moon," Gohan had replied, impressed by the child's vocabulary. "Dangerous," Goku had added, surprising the old master, with both the word choice and the gravity in his young voice. That same night, Gohan had awakened to catastrophe. The house shook with an animalistic roar, and outside, illuminated by moonlight, stood a giant ape-like creature where his small adopted grandson had been. The beast towered over the trees, beating its chest and firing destructive energy from its mouth that obliterated sections of the forest. Drawing on all his martial arts mastery, Gohan had managed to cut off the creature's view of the moon by using an ancient technique to temporarily blind it with a flash of ki energy. As the creature thrashed in confusion, its form gradually diminished until only the sleeping child remained, naked and exhausted but otherwise unharmed. After that night, Gohan took precautions during full moons, keeping Goku indoors with windows covered. More importantly, he intensified the boy's training in self-control, recognizing that whatever extraterrestrial heritage the child possessed came with both gifts and dangers. By age 6, Goku had developed into a study in contrasts. Physically, he was extraordinary, stronger and faster than any normal child, capable of feats that would challenge adult martial artists. Mentally, he displayed both childish innocence and occasional flashes of alien perspective that reminded Gohan of the boy's mysterious origins. The data tablet from the space pod had eventually yielded some of its secrets. Though Gohan couldn't read the alien language, he discovered that touching it to the sleeping child's temple would cause the symbols to glow and Goku to murmur in his sleep. After such sessions, Goku would sometimes demonstrate new knowledge or skills he hadn't been taught. "Where is Planet Vegeta?" Goku had asked one morning after such a session, the UNF. A familiar name flowing naturally from his lips. Gohan had studied the boy carefully. "I don't know of such a place. Is it something you remember?" Goku's brow had furrowed in concentration. Red sky, heavy gravity. His tail had lashed behind him in agitation. Gone now. Destroyed. These fragments of alien memory troubled Gohan, but he encouraged Goku to integrate rather than suppress them. "Whatever world you came from is part of you," he explained. "But Earth is your home now, and its ways must also become yours." The dual heritage created ongoing internal conflict for the young Saiyan. His INSTINCTS, what Gohan came to recognize as his Saiyan nature, pushed toward aggression, dominance, and combat. Yet Goku also responded to Gohan's teachings of restraint, compassion, and the martial arts. Chi's responsibility to protect rather than harm. "I want to fight," Goku declared frequently, his eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "I need to fight." Gohan channeled this drive into rigorous training, making the boy his own martial arts style while developing new methods to accommodate Goku's extraordinary strength and alien techniques that sometimes emerged spontaneously. "Fighting isn't about destroying your opponent," Gohan would remind him during training sessions. "It's about mastering yourself." These lessons usually took place in a remote clearing far from their home, where Goku's Onal power surges would cause minimal damage. It was during one such training session that disaster struck. The spring morning had begun like many others, with Goku demonstrating a new technique he'd somehow known without being taught. An energy blast formed between his palms that he could direct with surprising accuracy. "Interesting," Gohan commented, observing the blue energy sphere. "This isn't like any key manipulation I've seen before. It's called..." Goku frowned, searching for words. Kaham. Something. "I just know it. Whatever its name. Remember, energy techniques require perfect control," Gohan cautioned. "Power without direction becomes dangerous." They continued training until midday, when Gohan noticed dark clouds gathering unusually quickly over the mountains. "We should return home. Those clouds bring more than ordinary rain." Goku nodded, but as they prepared to leave, his head suddenly jerked upward, eyes wide. "Something's coming." Before Gohan could question him, the ground trembled. Not the gentle rumble of distant thunder, but a sustained quake that grew in intensity until rocks began sliding down the mountainside around them. "Earthquake!" Gohan shouted, pulling Goku toward a clearing away from potential falling debris. But Goku shook his head, expression unusually serious. "Not earthquake. Something else." His tail bristled behind him, an instinct. Response to danger that Gohan had observed before. The mountainside above them suddenly collapsed, not through natural shifting but as though struck by tremendous force. Giant boulders tumbled toward them. Too many for Gohan to deflect despite his martial arts mastery. "Run, Goku," the old master commanded, pushing the boy aside while preparing to face the rockslide himself. Instead of fleeing, Goku's expression shifted, fear replaced by determination tinged with something primal. The air around him seemed to distort as his power level spiked dramatically. His eyes flashed emerald, no launch. A momentary glimmer but a sustained glow that illuminated his young face. "No!" Goku screamed, voice deeper than normal as he thrust both hands upward. What happened next would forever change Gohan's understanding of his adopted grandson. Energy erupted from Goku's small body, not the controlled blast from their training, but a wave of golden power that engulfed the falling rocks. For an instant, the child's black hair rose upward, streaked with golden light that matched the aura surrounding him. The rockslide didn't merely stop, it disintegrated. Boulders larger than houses crumbled to dust under the energy wave, leaving nothing but a fine shower of particles drifting down around them. Silence followed, broken only by Goku's labored breathing as he collapsed to his knees, the golden aura fading as quickly as it had appeared. His eyes returned to their natural dark color, wide with shock at what he'd done. "Grandpa," he whispered, looking up at Gohan with confusion. "What happened?" Gohan knelt beside the exhausted child, mind racing to comprehend what he'd witnessed. This was no ordinary ki manipulation, but something beyond his understanding, power of a magnitude that shouldn't be possible in a human child. But then, Goku had never been human. "You saved us," Gohan said simply, placing a steadying hand on the boy's shoulder. "But this power within you, it's greater than I imagined." Goku stared at his small hands, still trembling from the energy discharge. "It felt natural, like something I was meant to do." He looked up at the mountain, where a massive section had been reduced to dust. "But I couldn't control it completely. That's why we must redouble your training," Gohan decided. "This power is part of your heritage, Goku. I can't teach you to suppress it, nor should I. But I can help you master it." The incident marked a turning point in their relationship. No longer could Gohan pretend Goku was merely an unusually gifted child. Whatever race had sent him to Earth possessed power potentially catastrophic if misused. That night, after Goku had fallen into exhausted sleep, Gohan retrieved the alien tablet and studied its incomprehensible symbols. Song. Where within its data lay answers about Goku's origins and the golden transformation he'd briefly manifested. For now, those answers remained beyond reach, but the old master committed himself to hell. Ping Goku navigate the complex intersection of his alien nature and his Earth upbringing. "Balance," Gohan whispered to the sleeping child. "That will be your greatest challenge." Word of strange OCCU. Renses in Mount Paozu spread gradually through nearby villages. Stories of unexplained lights, mysterious explosions, and a small boy performing impossible feats reached the ears of those who monitored such anomalies. Dr. Briefs, founder of Capsule Corporation and perhaps the most brilliant scientific mind on Earth, maintained a network of sensors throughout the world's remote regions, ostensibly for geological and atmospheric research. In reality, the scientist harbored a lifelong fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. "Dad, there's another energy spike from Mount Paozu," announced his daughter Bulma. 12 years old and already displaying intellectual brilliance that rivaled her father's. She pointed to a monitor displaying a colorful energy graph with a dramatic spike that exceeded the scale's parameters. Dr. Briefs adjusted his glasses, cigarette dangling forgotten from his lips as he studied the readings. "Fascinating. That's the third occurrence this month, and each stronger than the last. It doesn't match any known energy pattern in our database," Bulma noted, tapping through comparative analyses on a second screen. "Not electrical, not geological, not even consistent with volcanic activity." "No," her father agreed. "It's something else entirely." He didn't voice his suspicions that they were detecting energy of non-terrestrial origin. Bulma whirled a strand of blue hair around her finger, a habit when deep in thought. "We should investigate directly. The remote sensors can only tell us so much." "Too dangerous, drive," Briefs replied automatically, though his eyes remained fixed on the readings. "Those mountains are remote for a reason." "I'll be 14 next month," Bulma countered. "You promised I could conduct my own field research when I turned 14. That was before unexplained energy phenomena started appearing in your preferred research location." Bulma's expression shifted to the determined look her father recognized all too well. "All the more reason to investigate. If there's new energy technology in those mountains, we need to understand it before someone else does." Dr. Briefs sighed, knowing his daughter would find a way to Mount Paozu with or without permission. Better to support her expedition than have her sneak off alone. "Two conditions," he finally said. "First, you take a full complement of safety equipment and emergency capsules. Second, you maintain hourly communication with the lab." Bulma's face lit with excitement. "Deal. I'll start preparing right away." As his daughter rushed off to assemble equipment, Briefs returned his attention to the energy readings. Something unprecedented was happening in those mountains, something potentially world-changing. He only hoped whatever his daughter discovered there wouldn't upend their understanding of the universe entirely. At 8 years old, Goku had developed a daily routine that balanced Gohan's martial arts training with education about Earth customs and exploration of his own unique abilities. The latter often involved careful experimentation with the energy techniques that seemed to come naturally to him but remained mysterious to his adoptive grandfather. Again, Gohan instructed, standing beside a massive boulder they'd selected as today's training target. Focus the energy more tightly this time. Goku nodded, centering himself as he'd been taught. His tail, a constant reminder of his alien heritage, curled behind him in concentration as he extended his palms toward the boulder. Energy gathered between his hands, initially formless but gradually condensing into a pulsing sphere of blue light. Ka, Goku began, the syllable triggering muscle memory he didn't fully understand. Me, ha, me. The energy sphere intensified, compressing until it glowed white at its center. Gohan watched carefully, noting how the boy's control had improved since their first attempts at channeling this technique. Ha! Goku thrust his hands forward, releasing the energy in a controlled beam that struck the boulder dead center. Unlike his earlier attempts, which had either dissipated harmlessly or exploded uncontrollably, this blast drilled through the stone with precision, leaving a perfect circular hole rather than shattering the entire structure. Excellent. Gohan applauded. You're learning to direct the energy rather than simply releasing it. Goku lowered his hands, examining the boulder with satisfaction. It felt different this time. Less like forcing it out and more like guiding it. That's the essence of true martial arts, Gohan explained. Not dominance over your power, but partnership with it. The philosophy resonated with something deep in Goku's dual nature, the aggressive Saiyan instincts that head for domination tempered by an emerging appreciation for harmony and balance. Their training continued through the morning until Gohan called for a break. As they shared a simple meal beneath the trees, Goku suddenly stiffened. Head turning sharply toward the forest path leading to their remote training ground. Someone's coming, he announced, rising to his feet with the fluid grace of a natural fighter. Gohan extended his senses, impressed as always by Goku's ability to detect presences beyond the range of normal human perception. Yes, I feel it now. A single person, moving deliberately rather than lost. Not a hunter, Goku added, his heightened senses providing additional information. Different smell, metal and chemicals. They waited as the presence drew closer, finally materializing as a girl with striking blue hair, perhaps 14 years old, dressed in practical exploration gear and carrying a backpack adorned with the Capsule Corp logo. She stopped abruptly upon seeing them, clearly surprised to encounter anyone in this remote location. Oh, hello there, she called, approaching cautiously. I didn't expect to find people all the way out here. Gohan bowed slightly in traditional greeting. Few venture this far into the mountains. I am Son Gohan, and this is my grandson, Goku. The girl's gaze shifted to Goku, curiosity evident as she noticed his unusual features, the wild hair that defied gravity. The muscular physique unusual for a child his age, and most notably, the brown tail that swayed behind him. I'm Bulma Briefs, she replied, attention fixed on Goku. I'm conducting research on unusual energy readings we've detected in this area. She hesitated, then added directly to Goku, is that a real tail? Goku, less versed in social niceties despite Gohan's teachings, answered plainly. Yes, I've always had it. Fascinating. Bulma moved closer, scientific interest overriding caution. Are you human? I mean, she caught herself, realizing how the question might sound. Sorry, that came out wrong. Gohan intervened smoothly. My grandson has certain unique characteristics that we don't fully understand ourselves. It's okay, Goku said, unexpectedly forthright. I'm not from Earth originally. I'm a Saiyan. Both Gohan and Bulma stared at him in surprise. Gohan because Goku rarely spoke so directly about his origins, and Bulma because she hadn't actually expected confirmation of extraterrestrial contact. A Saiyan, Bulma repeated, excitement overtaking scientific detachment. As in, an alien. From another planet. Goku nodded. Planet Vegeta. But it was destroyed. I came here as a baby. He glanced at Gohan. Grandpa found me in my space pod. Bulma's eyes widened further. A space pod. Do you still have it? The technological applications alone would be revolutionary. Young lady, Gohan interjected gently but firmly, you seem to have come seeking energy readings, not extraterrestrial technology. Bulma composed herself with visible effort. Right, yes, the energy spikes. She produced a handheld device from her pocket that emitted soft beeping sounds. We've detected several unusual energy discharges from this area over the past year. Nothing matching known terrestrial phenomena. Goku and Gohan exchanged glances. The timing matched Goku's more dramatic power manifestations, including the mountain incident and subsequent training breakthroughs. That would be me, Goku admitted. I'm still learning to control it properly. Bulma adjusted settings on her device, pointing it directly at Goku. The beeping intensified, and her expression shifted from scientific curiosity to awe. Incredible, she breathed. You're generating energy readings similar to what we detected, even at rest. What exactly are you capable of? Before Gohan could intervene, Goku demonstrated. Raising one hand, he generated a small ki sphere, letting it hover above his palm, a basic technique he'd mastered months ago. Bulma's device went wild, beeping frantically until she had to shut it off. That's not possible according to current physics. Many things previously thought impossible become possible with an expanded perspective, Gohan noted philosophically. Goku's abilities have required us both to reconsider our understanding of what can be achieved. Recovering her scientific composure, Bulma asked, would you be willing to participate in controlled studies? The potential applications for energy generation alone could revolutionize. No. Gohan's response was gentle but unequivocal. Goku is a child, not a research subject. His abilities are still developing, and public exposure could be harmful to his growth. Disappointment flashed across Bulma's face, quickly replaced by understanding. Of course, I apologize for my enthusiasm. She looked at Goku with new respect. It's just, I've dreamed of discovering something truly revolutionary, and here you are, living proof that we're not alone in the universe. Goku, less concerned with the philosophical implications, asked bluntly, why were you really looking for the energy readings? The directness of the question caught Bulma off guard. Well, scientifically, they're unprecedented and worth investigating. But personally, she hesitated. I'm collecting the Dragon Balls. Dragon Balls, Gohan repeated, recognition in his voice. The legendary artifact, CTS said to grant wishes when all 7 are brought together. Bulma nodded, pulling a small orange sphere from her backpack. This is a Dragon Ball, specifically, the 5-star ball. My father found it years ago but thought it was merely a curiosity until I discovered ancient texts describing their purpose. The sphere gleamed in the sunlight, its 5 embedded stars seeming to glow from within. Goku stared at it with unexpected intensity, something about the object resonating with his Saiyan instincts. I developed a radar to track their unique energy signature, Bulma continued, producing another device. According to my readings, another Dragon Ball is somewhere in this area. When I detected the energy spikes, I thought they might be related. Gohan smiled, reaching into his robes to produce a similar sphere with 4 stars embedded within it. You mean this? It's been in my possession for decades. Bulma gasped. The 4-star ball. May I? She reached for it, but Gohan retained his hold. This has sentimental value beyond any wish-granting potential, he explained. I've considered it a good luck charm for much of my life. I understand, Bulma said quickly. But if you'd consider lending it temporarily. Once all 7 are gathered and the wish is granted, they scatter across the world again. You'd get it back afterward. What wish do you seek to make? Gohan asked. Wisdom accumulated over decades making him cautious about such power. Bulma hesitated, glancing at Goku before answering. Originally, something frivolous. But now, she straightened. Knowledge. I want to ask the dragon for knowledge about the universe beyond Earth. If there are Saiyans, what other civilizations exist? What technologies? What dangers might Earth face in the future? The answer seemed to satisfy Gohan, who nodded thoughtfully. A wish for understanding rather than personal gain. That shows wisdom beyond your years. Can I help? Goku asked suddenly, surprising both Gohan and Bulma. Finding these Dragon Balls sounds like an adventure. And I want to know more about the universe too, about where I came from, and why I was sent here. Gohan began cautiously, your training would benefit from real-world experience, Goku countered, displaying the strategic thinking that occasionally emerged alongside his more childlike qualities. You always say that knowledge on fine to the training ground isn't complete. Bulma brightened. He would be incredibly helpful. And completely safe with me. I've packed enough Capsule Corp technology to handle any situation. Gohan studied his grandson carefully. At 8 years old, Goku displayed physical capabilities exceeding most adult martial artists, along with instincts and awareness beyond his years. Perhaps more importantly, the boy needed broader experiences to help integrate his dual heritage. Continuing to isolate him on the mountain would eventually become counterproductive. 3 conditions, Gohan finally said. First, you return here after finding the Dragon Balls, regardless of the outcome. Second, you continue your training disciplines each day. And third, he fixed Bulma with a serious look, you ensure his unique nature remains private. There are those who would exploit such power if they discovered it. Agreed to all 3, Bulma replied promptly. And I'll add a 4th condition myself, I'll share everything we learn about the universe with both of you, especially anything related to Saiyans or planet Vegeta. Goku's face lit with excitement. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning would be ideal, Bulma suggested. I need to contact my father and prepare additional supplies now that I have a traveling companion. As they finalized arrangements, none of them noticed the small mechanic drone hovering high above the clearing, its advanced surveillance equipment recording their entire conversation. The device, bearing no identifying markings but constructed with technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities, transmitted its data to a receiver thousands of miles away. In a hidden facility beneath an anonymous government building, a monitor displayed the image of a small boy with a tail, generating energy that defied terrestrial physics. A figure in a pristine military uniform studied the footage with intense interest. After all these years, General Cooper murmured, confirmation at last. Alert the Sentinel Protocol team. Operation Stardust is now active. Across the room, an analyst looked up from another monitor displaying deep space telemetry data. Sir, we're detecting an anomalous signal from the outer system. Something responded to the energy discharge. The general's expression hardened. Enhanced monitoring protocols. Whatever replied to that signal is looking for something, or someone, on Earth. As the facility erupted into controlled activity, the general returned his attention to the image of Goku. What are you? He wondered aloud. And what have you brought to our doorstep? Far beyond Earth's atmosphere, at the edge of the solar system, a small scout vessel adjusted its course. After years of scanning for specific energy signatures, its SYS TEMS had finally detected the distinctive radiation pattern associated with Saiyan power manipulation. The automated ship's computers calculated a new trajectory toward the third planet from the Sun, where energy readings matched those of the legendary warrior prophesied in ancient Saiyan texts. The hunt for the last Saiyan child had begun. Chapter 2. Tournament of Destinies. 8 years after meeting Bulma briefs in the mountains, Goku stood atop the registration platform for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, his imposing physique drawing curious stares from fellow competitors. At 16, he'd grown into his Saiyan heritage, tall, powerfully built, with that same gravity-defying black hair now framing a face that had lost its childish roundness but maintained an expression of perpetual readiness. The brown tail, once a subject of ridicule during his early tournament appearances, now commanded a certain wary respect among the martial arts community. Name? Asked the registration official without looking up from his paperwork. Son Goku, he replied, voice deeper than in his youth but carrying the same direct quality. Returning competitor. The official glanced up, recognition dawning. Ah, the finalist from the last tournament. He made a notation on his form. You've grown considerably. Goku offered a slight smile. Training does that. In truth, his development had exceeded even Gohan's expectations. Following their Dragon Ball adventure 8 years prior, Goku had returned to Mount Paozu with new perspectives and questions about his heritage. The wish Bulma ultimately made, for knowledge about extraterrestrial civilizations, had yielded unexpected results. Rather than comprehensive information, the Eternal Dragon Shenron had provided coordinates to hidden alien outposts on Earth, established millennia ago by various cosmic civilizations as observation posts. One such outpost, buried beneath an ancient temple, had contained fragmentary records of Saiyan culture and biology. Those records confirmed what Goku had always sensed. His growth patterns would differ from humans, with dramatic physical development during adolescence followed by an extended lasting decades longer than Earth natives. Goku. Bulma's voice cut through his reminiscence. She approached from the spectator entrance, no longer the adventurous teenager but a confident young scientist who had parlayed their discoveries into revolutionary advances for Capsule Corporation. Her blue hair was cut in a stylish bob, designer clothes replacing the practical expedition gear of their youth. I was beginning to think you wouldn't make it, she continued, stopping before him with an appraising look. Though I see the training retreat was productive. Goku nodded. Master Roshi's land provided fewer distractions than the city. He didn't mention the real reason for his isolation, the increasingly difficult challenge of controlling his power during the final phase of his Saiyan adolescence. Bulma stepped closer, lowering her voice. Any episodes, too, he admitted quietly. Less intense than before. I'm getting better at channeling the energy before it peaks. She nodded, scientific interest mixing with personal concern. Over the years, their relationship had evolved from mutual curiosity to something more complex, she fascinated by his alien physiology and abilities. He appreciative of her brilliant mind and unwavering acceptance of his dual nature. The new suppression band is in my bag, she murmured. Latest version should be completely undetectable and more comfortable than the prototype. Thanks. His gratitude was genuine. Bulma's technological innovations had helped him navigate human society while managing his increasingly volatile Saiyan power. The suppression band, disguised as an ordinary wristband, dampened energy spikes that might otherwise attract unwanted attention. Their conversation paused as a tournament official announced the drawing for preliminary matches. Fighters began congregating around the selection board, a diverse collection of martial artists from across the world. Some familiar from previous tournaments, others new faces eager to test themselves against established champions. I should find my seat, Bulma said. Dad's arriving with the corporate sponsors later. You know how these publicity events are. Goku nodded. In truth he didn't fully understand the complex social dynamics of corporate sponsorship. Despite years on Earth, certain human customs remained foreign to him, particularly those involving business, politics, and romantic relationships. As Bulma departed, Goku's attention shifted to a new arrival at the registration table, a young woman with long black hair secured in a traditional bun, her GHTING uniform indicating mastery of a formal martial arts style. Something about her stance triggered recognition. Chi. He ventured as she completed her registration. She turned sharply, dark yes widening in recognition before narrowing with competitive assessment. Goku. I wondered if you'd return this year. They hadn't seen each other since the previous tournament 3 years ago, when both had reached the quarterfinals before Chi-Chi's defeat at the hands of the eventual champion, and Goku's controversial withdrawal following an equipment malfunction that had nearly resulted in a catastrophic display of his true power. Your father still running the Ox Kingdom dojo? Goku asked, genuine interest in his voice. Chi-Chi nodded, pride evident in her posture. He's expanded to 3 locations now. After my performance last tournament, applications doubled. Unlike many who approached Goku with either or challenge, Chi-Chi had always maintained a professional respect that he found refreshing. As daughter of the legendary Ox King and heir to a prestigious martial arts legacy, she understood both the discipline required for mastery and the burden of exceptional heritage. I've incorporated some new techniques, she added, competitive edge entering her voice. Don't expect the same fighter you saw last time. Goku smiled, an expression that rarely reached his eyes during tournament season. I never do. Their conversation was interrupted by commotion near the entrance, raised voices, followed by security personnel rushing toward the disturbance. Through the crowd, Goku glimpsed a woman with blue hair arguing vehemently with tournament officials, her voice carrying across the registration area. What do you mean? Females compete separately. That wasn't the rule last tournament. The woman's indignation drew attention from competitors and spectators alike. Chi-Chi sighed. New management, new rules. They've instituted a women's division this year. Her tone made clear her opinion of the change. Apparently some sponsors felt female fighters disturbed the traditional aesthetic of the main competition. Goku frowned. That seems unnecessarily complicated. Combat effectiveness isn't determined by gender. A refreshingly logical perspective, Chi-Chi noted with approval. Unfortunately, tournament organizers rarely consult actual fighters when making these decisions. The blue-haired woman at the entrance was now gesturing dramatically, her voice reaching new volumes of outrage. As Goku watched, her demeanor suddenly shifted, body language becoming rigid. Expression hardening into something altogether more dangerous. When she spoke again, her voice had changed completely. "Listen here," she growled, grabbing the official's clipboard. "Either I compete in the main bracket, or I'll show you exactly why separating fighters by gender is stupid." The transformation was so abrupt that several nearby competitors stepped back. Goku, however, leaned forward with interest. "Who is that?" he asked Chi-Chi. "Launch," she replied. "She competed 3 years ago but was disqualified for excessive force in the preliminaries. Rumor has it she has some kind of personality disorder, switches between timid and aggressive without warning." Goku studied the woman with new attention. Her energy signature fluctuated oddly during the transition, almost as two distinct key patterns were overlapping within a single physical form. Not unlike his own energy during transformative states, though clearly different in nature and origin. The confrontation ended with Launch storming away from registration, muttering threats that made several security personnel reach reflexively for their radios. As she passed near Goku and Chi-Chi, her gaze locked briefly. "Why with his?" A flash of recognition followed by calculating assessment. "You're the tail guy," she stated bluntly. "Finalist from last time." Goku, "Right," he nodded. "And your Launch." Something shifted in her expression, surprised that he knew her name, quickly masked by bravado. "Watch yourself in the ring, pretty boy. I qualified for the women's division under protest, but that just means I'll have energy left to crash the main event after I'm done." Before Goku could respond, another competitor jostled Launch from behind. The minor collision produced an unexpected result. She sneezed violently, and before their eyes, her entire demeanor transformed again. Her rigid posture softened, aggressive expression replaced by wide-eyed confusion. "Oh my," she said in a completely different voice, gentle and uncertain. "I'm so sorry, I must have gotten lost. Is this the registration area?" Goku and Chi-Chi exchanged glances. The shift wasn't merely behavioral. Launch's energy signature had altered completely. As though a different person now inhabited her body. "Yes, registration is right over there," Chi-Chi offered, pointing toward the table. Launch bowed slightly, the gesture delicate and formal compared to her previous aggressive stance. "Thank you so much. I'm a bit nervous about competing. It's my first tournament." As she walked away, Goku commented quietly, "That was strange." "Indeed," Chi-Chi agreed. "Though in my experience, the tournament attracts all kinds of unusual people." She gave Goku a pointed look that acknowledged his own uniqueness without directly referencing it. Their attention shifted as tournament officials began organizing preliminary matches. Fighters were directed toward numbered rings where elimination rounds would determine the 8 finalists for the main tournament. The format was familiar to Goku from previous competitions, one-on-one matches ending by knockout, ring out, or forfeit. As he moved toward his assigned ring, Goku noticed a new part. I pant observing the proceedings with unusual intensity. A tall woman with spiky black hair cut short at the shoulders, athletic build evident beneath simple training clothes. Unlike other competitors who socialized while waiting for their matches, she stood apart, arms crossed, gaze systematically assessing each fighter with military precision. Most remarkable was her energy signature, not merely powerful, but structured in a pattern Goku recognized immediately despite having encountered it only a few times before. It resonated with his own ki in a way that human energy never did. Saiyan. Another Saiyan was here. The realization froze him momentarily. According to the fragmentary records they'd discovered, Planet Vegeta's destruction should have left very few survivors, perhaps none besides himself. Yet the evidence of his senses was undeniable. This woman's energy carried the distinct signature of Saiyan Ki, though carefully suppressed beneath layers of control. She must have sensed his attention, for her head turned sharply, dark eyes locking with his across the crowded arena. Recognition flashed across her features, quickly concealed behind a mask of indifference. She gave no acknowledgement, turning away to observe other competitors, but her posture had tensed minutely. Goku considered approaching her immediately, questions burning in his mind, but the tournament announcer called his name for the first preliminary match. The conversation would have to wait. The preliminary rounds progressed with mechanical efficiency, experienced fighters quickly eliminating those who entered with more enthusiasm than skill. Goku's matches ended swiftly, his opponents outclassed by the combination of Saiyan physical advantages and years of dedicated training under multiple masters. Between matches, he observed the mysterious woman's fights with intense interest. Her technique was disciplined and formal, clearly developed within a structured military system rather than Earth's martial arts traditions. She dispatched opponents with efficient precision, using exactly enough force for victory without unnecessary display, someone concealing her true capabilities. After qualifying for the finals with a particularly decisive victory, Goku found Bulma waiting at the competitor's exit. "I see you're still holding back," she commented, falling into step beside him as they moved toward the private area reserved for finalists. "Tournament rules," he replied simply. "And public setting." Bulma nodded understanding. Years of friendship had taught her to read the subtle indicators of Goku's restraint, the careful regulation of his movements, the fractional hesitation before each strike as he calibrated his strength to avoid serious injury to human opponents. "There's something else," he added quietly, ensuring no other competitors were within earshot. "Another Saiyan is here." Bulma stopped walking, eyes widening. "Are you sure?" "Positive. Female, highly trained, disguising. Her power level but not her basic energy signature. Friend or foe? Unknown. She's deliberately avoided direct interaction." Bulma processed this, scientific mind rapidly assessing implications. "After all these years, why now? And how did she find you?" "The tournament is broadcast internationally," Goku reasoned. "If she's been searching for Saiyan energy signatures, my previous competitor Ons might have provided enough data to track me." "We need to approach carefully," Bulma cautioned. "Remember what the outpost records indicated about Saiyan military hierarchy and cultural attitudes. If she's a survivor of the original system." Goku nodded understanding. His limited knowledge of Saiyan culture suggested complex honor codes and rigid caste distinctions. As someone born with markers of the legendary Super Saiyan, his position within that system would be complicated. "I'll make contact after the tournament," he decided. Neutral ground, away from spectators. Their conversa. Qian paused as they reached the finalists' preparation area, a large room where the 8 remaining competitors could rest and prepare for the main event. Most were familiar faces from the martial arts circuit. With 3 exceptions. Chi-Chi, the mysterious Saiyan woman registered under the name Karina, and a tall, angular man whose features suggested non-Earth ancestry despite his conventional appearance. This last individual drew Goku's attention immediately. Unlike the Saiyan woman who concealed her power, this competitor made no effort to disguise his extraterrestrial nature from those sensitive to such distinctions. His key signature was alien, structured differently from both human and Saiyan energy patterns, with artificial augmentations Goku had never encountered before. "Interesting crowd this year," Bulma murmured, following Goku's gaze. "That one doesn't even feel human to me, and I don't have your senses." "He's not," Goku confirmed quietly. "Some kind of biomechanical hybrid. I'm detecting both organic and synthetic energy patterns." Before they could discuss further, tournament officials entered to announce the matchups for the quarterfinals. The electronic board displayed the pairings. Son Goku vs. Tien Shinhan, Chi-Chi vs. Karina, Yamcha vs. Krill, Launch vs. Piccolo Jr. Goku assessed the brackets strategically. Tien, the previous champion, would provide a legitimate challenge even for his restrained abilities. The pairing of Chi-Chi against the disguised Saiyan concerned him. An elite Saiyan warrior would outclass even the most skilled human martial artist. He final match particularly drew his attention. Launch against the mysterious green-skinned fighter who claimed to be the reincarnation of the Demon King Piccolo. "The quarter-finals will begin in 1 hour, announced the official. Competitors should remain in the preparation area until called. As the officials departed, the finalists broke into small conversational groups or isolated themselves for final preparations. Goku noticed Karina, watching him with calculated intensity, though she maintained her distance. The biomechanical competitor, Krill, similarly observed him while affecting disinterest. I don't like this, Bulma whispered. Two aliens besides you, both fixated on your every move. This can't be coincidence. Agreed, Goku replied. Something's happening beyond a simple tournament. Their suspicions deepened when Krill suddenly approached, movement fluid despite his angular physique. Up close, the disguise was more apparent to Goku's enhanced senses, subtle seams where synthetic skin joined. Eyes that focused with mechanical precision, the faint hum of technology beneath humanoid appearance. Son Goku, he said, voice perfectly modulated yet lacking natural cadence. Your reputation precedes you. I look forward to meeting you in the semifinals, assuming we both advance. The statement was delivered as casual conversation, but Goku detected the underlying threat as assessment occurring behind those artificial eyes. May the best fighter win, Goku replied neutrally, offering nothing beyond tournament platitudes. Krill smiled, a precise movement that never reached his eyes. Indeed, though victory conditions can be variable. With that cryptic comment, he returned to his isolated position against the far wall. That wasn't subtle, Bulma muttered. He's basic, ally announcing he's here for you specifically. Goku nodded slightly. The question is why, and whether he's connected to Karina or acting independently. Their speculation was interrupted by the arrival of Chi-Chi, who had been observing the exchange from nearby. Your new friend seems charming, she commented dryly. Another special competitor like yourself. The question confirmed what Goku had long suspected. Chi-Chi had recognized his non-human nature during previous tournaments but had chosen not to mention it directly. Her discretion was one of many qualities he'd come to appreciate about her. Something like that, he acknowledged. Though we've never met before today. Chi-Chi nodded thoughtfully. There seemed to be quite a few unusual participants this year. Her gaze drifted to Karina, then back to Goku. Any advice for my upcoming match? The request surprised him. Chi-Chi rarely sought input from other fighters, proud of her independent training methodology. She's extremely disciplined, Goku offered carefully. Likely military background. Doesn't waste movement or energy. I'd suggest probing for reaction patterns before committing to any major technique. Chi-Chi considered this. Similar to your style, then. In some ways. Goku hesitated, weighing how much to reveal. Be careful. I suspect she's stronger than she's shown so far. Chi-Chi's eyes narrowed slightly, recognizing the warning beneath his casual tone. Understood. I'll adjust accordingly. She turned to Bulma with a respectful nod. Ms. Briefs, your technical innovations continue to impress. The lightweight armor concept you presented at last month's expo has revolutionary implications for traditional martial arts. Bulma brightened at the recognition. Thank you. I've been working on applications that preserve mobility while enhancing protection. If you're ever interested in testing prototypes, I might take you up on that, Chi-Chi replied with genuine interest. My father's academies are always seeking advancements that honor tradition while embracing innovation. Their conversation continued, the two women finding unexpected common ground despite their different backgrounds. Goku observed their interaction with interest, noting how Chi-Chi's formal precision complemented Bulma's enthusiastic innovation. Their dynamic reminded him of something Gohan had once told him about Earth relationships, that the strongest connections often formed between people whose differences created balance rather than conflict. As the hour progressed, Goku maintained awareness of both Karina and Krill, neither of whom made further direct approaches. Tournament officials eventually returned to escort the first competitors to the arena, signaling the beginning of the quarterfinals. The match against Tien unfolded much as Goku had anticipated, a technically brilliant contest between two disciplined fighters. Tien's three-eyed perception gave him exceptional spatial awareness, his mastery of key manipulation rivaled that of any human Goku had encountered. Under normal circumstances, they would have been evenly matched. But circumstances hadn't been normal for Goku in many years. You're still holding back, Tien commented during a momentary deadlock, their forearms pressed against each other at the center of the ring. Goku didn't deny it. Tournament rules. That's not what I mean. Tien's third eye seemed to peer beyond physical appearance. There's something different about you this year. Your energy feels volatile, contained, but pushing against constraints. They broke apart, circling warily. Tien was right. Controlling his power had become increasingly difficult as he approached full Saiyan maturity. Each year, the gap between his true capabilities and what he could safely display in public settings widened. We all have our burdens to manage, Goku replied, respect for the three-eyed warrior evident in his tone. Tien nodded understanding. Then show me your control. Not just your restraint. The distinction was meaningful. Restraint meant simply holding back. Control meant precise manipulation of available power. Goku acknowledged the challenge with a slight smile. Then shifted his approach. What followed was less a battle than an elaborate demonstration of technical mastery, perfect form, precise energy manipulation, strategic positioning. Tien responded in kind, the two warriors showcasing the highest level of martial arts excellence without resorting to their more destructive capabilities. Ultimately, Goku claimed victory through superior speed and tactical foresight, maneuvering Tien into a position where momentum carried him beyond the ring boundary. The crowd erupted in appreciation for the display of skill, while the fighters exchanged respectful bows. Whatever you're containing, Tien said quietly as they left the ring, be careful it doesn't consume you instead. The warning lingered in Goku's mind as he watched the Sec.OND match from the competitor's viewing area. Chi-Chi entered the ring with confident poise, her traditional uniform contrasting with Karina's utilitarian training gear. The disguised Saiyan maintained her aloof demeanor, observing her opponent with clinical detachment. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer called, our second quarterfinal match features Chi-Chi, daughter of the legendary Ox King and master of the Ox style, against tournament newcomer Karina, whose preliminary performances have already created buzz among martial arts enthusiasts. The match began cautiously, both fighters cling and probing with minor engagements, testing reactions and defenses before committing to significant techniques. Chi-Chi's formal style emphasized precise strikes and fluid transitions, while Karina employed a more economical approach that Goku recognized as modified Saiyan military combat training. For several minutes, they appeared evenly matched, though Goku could see Karina carefully regulating her speed and strength to remain within human parameters. Chi-Chi, perceptive and experienced, clearly sensed the restraint. You're not taking this seriously, she challenged during a brief separation after an exchange of techniques. Karina's expression remained impassive. I'm responding appropriately to the level of threat presented. The dismissal triggered something in Chi-Chi, not anger, but determined intensity. Her next series of attacks incorporated techniques Goku hadn't seen her use before, combining traditional Ox-style movements with innovations that suggested years of independent development. Even Karina appeared momentarily surprised, forced to increase her engagement to counter the unexpected assault. For a brief moment, her careful control slipped, movement accelerating beyond normal human capability. Strength evident in a counter-strike that created visible shock waves through the tournament platform. Chi-Chi absorbed the impact with remarkable resilience, redirecting force through practiced techniques. But the exchange had revealed the true disparity between them. Karina, recognizing her lapse, immediately adjusted back to her previous level of restraint. Interesting. Goku heard Bulma murmur beside him. She's deliberately maintaining the illusion of a competitive match. For the audience, Goku agreed. But also to avoid drawing additional attention. The match continued with Chi-Chi pressing increasingly creative attacks, clearly aware she faced someone beyond normal human capabilities yet refusing to concede without exhausting every strategic option. Her determination impressed both Goku and the spectators, earning respect even as the outcome became inevitable. Karina ended the match with clinical efficiency, using Chi-Chi's aggressive momentum against her in a precise throw that sent her beyond the ring boundary. As the announcer declared Karina the victor, she offered Chi-Chi a hand up from the ground, a gesture of respect that seemed to surprise even herself. You're more skilled than I anticipated, Karina acknowledged, loud enough for nearby spectators to hear but quiet enough to seem private. Chi-Chi accepted both the hand and the compliment with dignity. And you're not what you appear to be. Something flickered across Karina's face, recognition of Chi-Chi's perceptiveness. She responded with a slight nod before turning to leave the platform, maintaining her cover as merely an exceptional human competitor. As they returned to the preparation area, Goku met Chi-Chi's gaze with silent acknowledgement of her performance. She approached him directly, voice low despite her evident physical fatigue. "She's like you, isn't she?" Chi-Chi asked without preamble. "Not entirely human." Goku hesitated, then nodded once. "How could you tell? Besides the impossible strength and speed." Chi-Chi's expression combined wry humor with analytical precision. "The way she moves, like gravity, affects her differently. The same quality I've noticed in your movements since we first competed." Her observation confirmed what Gohan had warned years ago, that perceptive martial artists might recognize Goku's alien nature through subtle indicators no amount of restraint could completely disguise. "Be careful around her," Chi-Chi added, surprising him with her concern. "She was assessing you through our entire match. I was merely a convenient benchmark for comparison." Before Goku could respond, the announcement for the third quarterfinal match echoed through the arena. Chi-Chi excused herself to seek medical attention for minor injuries, leaving Goku to consider the implications of her warning. The remaining matches proceeded quickly. Yamcha, a skilled fighter Goku had befriended during previous tournaments, found himself overwhelmed by Krill's superior speed and precision. The biomechanical fighter dispatched him efficiently, though without the excessive force that might have revealed his non-human nature to average observers. The final quarterfinal match drew particular attention. Launch, currently in her aggressive blue-haired persona, against Piccolo Jr., whose green skin and pointed ears made no attempt to disguise his non-human heritage. Their contest quickly escalated beyond technical martial arts into a raw display of power, with Launch demonstrating key manipulation abilities surprising for someone supposedly human. "She's been holding back significantly," Bulma observed. "That energy output shouldn't be possible without specialized training." "It's not just training," Goku replied, studying Launch's technique. "Her energy patterns are abnormal, almost as though two distinct key signatures are overlapping and amplifying each other." Despite Launch's unexpected capabilities, Piccolo ultimately claimed victory through superior power and regenerative abilities. As Launch left the ring, visibly frustrated by her defeat, Goku noticed her gaze lingering on both himself and Karina with calculated assessment rather than casual interest. The semifinals were announced. Goku vs. Karina, and Krill vs. Piccolo Jr., a bracket that guaranteed at least one non-human fighter would reach the final match. Hour before the semifinal matches brought an unexpected development. As Goku meditated in a quiet corner of the preparation area, focusing on maintaining optimal control for the upcoming contest, he sensed someone approaching with deliberate purpose. Opening his eyes, he found Karina standing before him, expression unreadable. "We need to talk," she said without preamble. Privately, Goku rose smoothly to his feet, towering over the Saiyan woman despite her above-average height. "I agree." They moved to an isolated section of the preparation area, position carefully chosen to prevent eavesdropping while maintaining visual contact with other competitors. For a moment, neither spoke, each assessing the other with senses that went beyond ordinary perception. "Kakarot," she finally said, using his Saiyan name with certainty. "Son of Bardock, you survived." Hearing his original name spoken aloud by another Saiyan sent an unexpected ripple of emotion through Goku, connection to a heritage he'd experienced only through fragmented memories and recovered data. "I survived," he acknowledged. "As did you, apparently. Your real name isn't Karina, I assume." A hint of approval crossed her features at his directness. "Vespa, Elite Scout Division under General Nappa's command. I was off-world on reconnaissance when planet Vegeta was destroyed." The name meant nothing to Goku, but her affiliation with Nappa, a name mentioned in the outpost records as a high-ranking Saiyan military leader, established her position in the hierarchy that had once governed their race. "How did you find me?" he asked. "Energy signature tracking," she replied. "Saiyan Ki has distinctive patterns, especially when manipulated for combat. Your previous tournament appearances created enough data for triangulation. Why seek me out now? After all these years?" Vespa's expression hardened. "Because we're not alone, Kakarot. Prince Vegeta survived the destruction. He's rebuilding Saiyan forces, gathering the scattered survivors." The revelation stunned Goku. Prince Vegeta, heir to the Saiyan throne according to historical records, alive and actively reuniting their scattered people. "This tournament," he realized aloud. "You're evaluating my potential usefulness." Yes, she made no attempt to soften the assessment. Every surviving Saiyan must be accounted for. Our numbers are critically low. And if I'm not interested in joining this rebuilding effort. Vespa's eyes narrowed slightly. That would be unfortunate. Prince Vegeta's claim on all Saiyan survivors is legitimate under our ancient laws. If using his summons would be considered treason. The implication was clear. Cooperation was expected, not requested. Goku felt an instinctive bristling at the attempted dominance, something deep in high Saiyan nature rejecting automatic submission. I've built a life here, he stated calmly. Earth is my home now. A primitive backwater, Vespa dismissed. Your potential is wasted here, fighting entertainment spectacles for creatures whose power levels barely register. Her gaze sharpened, particularly given what you are. Which is what, exactly? Don't play ignorant, Kakarot. The golden energy, the emerald eyes, the power surges you struggle to contain. She leaned closer, voice dropping further. You bear the markers of the legendary Super Saiyan. That's why Prince Vegeta sent me personally, to confirm the rumors. So she knew, or at least suspected, his true nature. And what does Prince Vegeta intend to do with this potential legendary Super Saiyan? Harness your power for our people's restoration, of course. Vespa's tone suggested the answer should be obvious. Under his guidance, you would receive proper training, learn to control the transformation, become the weapon OU. Our race needs to reclaim its rightful place. Goku considered her words carefully. The prospect of learning more about his heritage, of mastering the volatile power that occasionally overwhelmed his control, held undeniable appeal. Yet something in Vespa's phrasing troubled him. Become the weapon our race needs. I'm not interested in being anyone's weapon, he stated firmly. Vespa's expression hardened further. You speak like someone raised among weaklings, infected by their soft ideologies. You are Saiyan, Kakarot. Combat is our purpose, conquest our destiny. Perhaps that's why our planet was destroyed, Goku countered. Perhaps that destiny led to our near extinction. The suggestion clearly disturbed Vespa, though she masked it quickly. Our match begins soon. We'll continue this discussion afterward. She turned to leave, then added, and Kakarot, don't hold back against me. I need to assess your full capabilities. As she walked away, Goku remained troubled by the encounter. Vase Ha represented a direct connection to his biological heritage, yet her values and expectations felt alien compared to the principles Gohan had instilled in him. The conflict between his Saiyan nature and his Earth upbringing, always simmering beneath the surface, now demanded resolution. Before he could reflect further, Bulma appeared beside him, expression concerned. What was that about? You two looked rather intense. She's here to recruit me, Goku explained. Apparently the Saiyan Prince survived and is gathering remaining members of our race. Bulma processed this with remarkable composure. That complicates things, especially with our other extraterrestrial friend lurking about. She nodded toward Krill, who maintained his isolated position while systematically observing all activity in the preparation area. Speaking of complications, Goku added, have you noticed the government observers? Hard to miss them, Bulma confirmed. 4 distinct agencies by my count, including 2 I don't recognize. They've been monitoring the entire tournament. This wasn't entirely surprising. Ever since their discovery of the alien outpost years ago, they'd been aware of classified government programs tracking potential extraterrestrial activity on Earth. Bulma's father had leveraged his corporate influence to shield their findings from official scrutiny, but public events like the tournament remained under observation. I think we're approaching a tipping point, Bulma continued thoughtfully. Too many interested parties converging at once. Whatever happens in these next matches, maintaining your cover may become impossible. Goku nodded grimly. I've been preparing for that possibility. If necessary, I'll withdraw before revealing too much. That might not be an option. Bulma's gaze drifted to Krill. I don't think he's here just to observe. There's something predatory about his focus on you. Before they could discuss further, the announcement for the first semifinal match echoed through the arena. Goku squeezed Bulma's shoulder gently in reassurance before moving toward the exit. Be careful, she called after him. And remember, whatever happens, you have people here who care about you. Earth is your home by choice, not just circumstance. Her words followed him as he entered the arena, providing unexpected emotional clarity as he prepared to face the Reaper. Essentative of a heritage he knew mainly through fragments and secondhand information. The semifinal match against Vespa began as a technical showcase similar to his contest with Tien, two disciplined fighters demonstrating exceptional skill within the tournament's constraints. For the benefit of the audience and observers, they maintained the appearance of a challenging but conventional martial arts match. Beneath this facade, an entirely different conversation occurred through combat. Each exchange conveyed information about training, reflexes, and fighting philosophy. Vespa's technique revealed her military background, efficient, practiced, deadly, while Goku's more adaptive style demonstrated the influence of multiple Earth Masters combined with his innate Saiyan instincts. "Your fundamentals are surprisingly solid," Vespa commented during a clinch. "Despite this planet's primitive training methods, Earth's martial arts traditions are deeper than you realize," Goku countered, breaking the clinch with a technical movement that forced her to readjust her balance. They separated, circling again as the audience applauded what appeared to be evenly matched competitors. In reality, H were operating at a fraction of their true capabilities, maintaining the illusion of a conventional contest. "You've hidden among them successfully," Vespa acknowledged. "But for what purpose? What has this world offered that justifies abandoning your heritage?" The question wasn't merely tactical distraction. Genuine curiosity underlay her tone, a Saiyan warrior trying to comprehend choices that contradicted everything her culture had taught her to value. "Not abandonment," Goku corrected, launching a combination that tested her defensive reactions. "Integration. Taking the best of both worlds," Vespa scoffed, countering his sequence with precise blocks. "Compromise is weakness. Purity of purpose defines Saiyan identity. Perhaps that's why there are so few of us left." The comment struck deeper than intended. Vespa's rhythm faltered momentarily, creating an opening Goku could have exploited for decisive advantage. Instead, he adjusted his own movement to maintain the competitive balance of their performance. The gesture didn't go unnoticed. "You could have struck then," Vespa observed, genuine confusion in her tone. "Why hesitate? This is a tournament, not a death match," Goku replied. "The purpose is to test skills, not destroy opponents." Something shifted in Vespa's expression, not agreement, but recognition of a perspective she hadn't previously considered. The match continued with subtle changes to her approach, less focused on efficiency and more exploratory. As they neared the time limit, Goku sensed Vespa's growing frustration. She had come to evaluate his capabilities, yet he continued to operate within tournament constraints that prevented full assessment. "Show me," she finally demanded during another close exchange. "Show me what you truly are." Before Goku could respond, an explosion rocked the eastern side of the tournament arena. Spectators screamed as debris scattered across nearby seating areas. Through the dust and confusion, three figures emerged onto the fighting platform, humanoid in general form but with distinctly alien features partially concealed by tactical gear. "Bounty hunters," Vespa hissed, immediately shifting from tournament fighter to combat-ready warrior. The lead hunter raised a device that resembled an advanced scanner, sweeping it across the platform until it settled on Goku. A series of lights activated along its surface, accompanied by a high-pitched confirmation tone. "Target confirmed," the hunter announced in accented English. "Saiyan signature matches bounty parameters." Vespa moved to a defensive position beside Goku. Their match forgotten as a more immediate threat presented itself. "Crixian hunters," she explained rapidly. "They specialize in tracking specific energy signatures. Someone placed a bounty on Saiyan DNA." The tournament erupted into chaos. Security personnel rushed forward only to be casually disabled by the hunters' superior technology. The announcer called for evacuation as spectators fled the stadium. Among the confusion, Goku noticed Krill observing from the competitors' area, making no move to either assist or depart, simply watching with clinical interest. "Subject will be contained for transport," the lead hunter declared, activating a device on his wrist. "Non-lethal protocols authorized for primary target. Secondary Saiyan signature expendable." The threat to Vespa Elam ignited any remaining hesitation in Goku's mind. These hunters had attacked a public event, endangered civilians, and now threatened a fellow Saiyan. Regardless of their prior disagreement, he wouldn't allow that. Stay behind me, he told Vespa, stepping forward. I don't need your protection, she objected, though her energy readings indicated she was significantly outmatched by the hunters' advanced equipment. It's not protection, Goku clarified. It's tactical positioning. When I move, flank the one on the right. Understanding dawned in her eyes. He wasn't dismissing her capabilities but coordinating their response. She nodded once, shifting her stance to enable the suggested maneuver. The lead hunter activated his containment device, generating an energy field designed to immobilize targets through direct nervous system disruption. As the field expanded toward them, Goku made his decision. The situation had escalated beyond the possibility of maintaining his cover, protecting the remaining spectators and defeating the hunters would require capabilities beyond normal human parameters. Remember what you asked to see, he told Vespa. Then, removing the suppression band Bulma had provided, he released the careful control he'd maintained throughout the tournament. The transformation wasn't the complete manifestation of his legendary potential, that remained volatile and unpredictable, but a controlled release of his base Saiyan power. The air around him distorted with energy, his aura becoming visible as a white-gold radiance that disrupted the hunter's containment field before it could reach them. Energy signature exceeding parameters, one hunter reported, adjusting settings on his equipment. Recalibrating containment protocols. Goku didn't give them the opportunity. Moving at speed invisible to most observers, he closed the distance to the lead hunter and disabled his equipment with a precise strike. Vespa, following his earlier suggestion, simultaneously engaged the hunter on the right flank. Her own abilities now displayed without restraint. The third hunter activated a more aggressive weapon, some form of energy disruptor that fired concentrated plasma bursts toward Goku. He deflected the blasts with calculated movements, redirecting them away from remaining spectators while advancing steadily toward the attacker. Throughout the stadium, recording Devi, CES captured the confrontation from multiple angles. Government observers monitored with intense interest, no longer concerned with maintaining their cover as they communicated findings to distant superiors. Whatever secrecy had surrounded Goku's nature was now thoroughly compromised. The hunters, recognizing their disadvantage against an unrestrained Saiyan, attempted tactical withdrawal. The third activated a recall beacon, signaling for extraction. Goku intercepted the signal with a focused energy pulse that disabled the communication device along with the hunter's primary weapons. This planet is under my protection, he informed the disarmed hunters. Tell whoever sent you that bounty hunting is not welcome here. Tournament security finally organized a response, surrounding the subdued hunters with what would be comically inadequate force under normal circumstances. Goku stepped back, allowing Earth authorities to handle the aftermath while he assessed the wider situation. The arena had mostly emptied of spectators. Though key observers remained, Bulma near the competitor's entrance, concern evident in her expression, Chi-Chi from the medical area, her analytical gaze taking in every detail of what had transpired. Launched now in her blue-haired aggressive form, watching with undisguised interest from the upper level. Most significantly, Krill had disappeared during the confrontation. His absence troubled Goku more than his presence had, an unknown variable now operating without observation. Vespa approached, her assessment of Goku visibly recalibrated by what she'd witnessed. That wasn't even your full capability, she stated rather than asked. No, he acknowledged, just what was necessary. Prince Vegeta will be very interested in this report. Her tone contained both professional assessment and something more personal, respect mingled with cautious reconsideration of her earlier dismissal of Earth's influence. Before they could continue, government agents in unmarked tactical gear began establishing a perimeter around the tournament arena. Their equipment and coordination indicated specialized training for extraterrestrial contingencies, the classified program Bulma's father had warned them about years earlier. We need to leave, Goku decided. This situation will escalate beyond tournament jurisdiction very quickly. Vespa nodded agreement. My P is concealed in the mountains north of the city. I can depart within the hour. And your mission regarding me? She met his gaze directly. Incomplete. You've demonstrated exceptional potential, not the full manifestation of the legendary transformation. Prince Vegeta will require more information before determining next steps. I'm not property to be claimed, Goku reminded her. Whatever. Prince Vegeta may believe about his authority. Something unexpected flickered across Vespa's features, not the outrage he might have expected at this challenge to Saiyan hierarchy, but thoughtful consideration. Perhaps there are aspects of our tradition worth reconsidering, she conceded. Our old ways led to near extinction. Adaptation may be necessary for survival. She gestured toward the aftermath of the Hunter confrontation. Your attachment to this world is more substantial than I initially understood. Before Goku could respond, Bulma reached them, moving deliberately through the security cordon with the confidence of someone whose corporate influence exceeded governmental authority. We have approximately 8 minutes before this becomes a classified incident scene, she informed them quietly. Transportation is waiting at the service exit. Chi-Chi and Launch are creating a distraction near the main gate. Goku raised an eyebrow at this unexpected cooperation between the two women, but didn't question the tactical advantage. He turned to Vespa. Come with us. There's more you should know about the Saiyan legacy before reporting to your prince. Vespa hesitated. Melita, Rai discipline warring with pragmatic assessment of the deteriorating situation. Very well, she finally agreed. A complete intelligence assessment requires understanding all factors. They moved quickly through the service corridors, avoiding the main security deployment. Outside, a Capsule Corp vehicle waited with tinted windows and diplomatic markers that would discourage casual interference from authorities. As they departed the tournament grounds, Goku observed the government response continuing to escalate. Additional personnel arriving, specialized equipment being deployed, perimeter expanding to include surrounding blocks. His public display had irrevocably altered his status on Earth, from unusual martial artist to confirmed extraterrestrial entity. The Sentinel Protocol has been officially activated, Bulma reported. Checking secure communications on a specialized device. Dad's contacts in the administration are running interference, but they're classifying you as a person of interest, pending full evaluation. Primitive containment attempt, Vespa scoffed. Their technology is generations behind standard galactic capabilities. Don't underestimate human adaptability, Goku cautioned. They've reversed engineered more alien technology than you realize. As their vehicle navigated city streets toward the Capsule Corp compound, Goku's thoughts turned to the immediate future. His carefully constructed balance between Saiyan heritage and Earth identity had been disrupted beyond repair. Whatever came next would require new approaches to both his personal development and his relationships with those around him. In the distance, beyond Earth's atmosphere, a small scout ship adjusted its approach vector. Inside, automated systems processed the energy readings NTLY detected at the tournament location, comparing them to historical records of Saiyan power signatures. Finding a match with specific parameters, the ship transmitted an encrypted burst transmission toward a distant sector of the galaxy. Aboard the vessel Saiyan Pride, Prince Vegeta received the automated alert with narrowed eyes. The legendary power had been confirmed on the primitive planet C. All Earth, exactly as ancient prophecies had foretold. The last piece of his restoration plan was finally within reach. Set course for Earth, he commanded. It's time we reclaimed what belongs to the Saiyan Empire. As stars streaked past the viewport, the prince allowed himself a rare moment of anticipation. Soon he would face this Kakarot and determine whether the legendary power would serve the Saiyan resurgence, or be eliminated as a threat to his authority. Either way, the fate of their race would be decided on the insignificant blue planet that had unknowingly harbored the key to Saiyan destiny for 16 years. Chapter 3. Cosmic Convergence. Sunset painted Capsule Corporation headquarters in hues of amber and gold as Goku stood atop the dome-shaped central building, eyes fixed on the darkening sky. 3 weeks had passed since the tournament incident thrust his extraterrestrial nature into public awareness, fundamentally altering his relationship with the planet he called home. Behind him, the door to the roof access slid open as Bulma emerged, carrying 2 steaming cups. Energy readings from the orbital satellites are still increasing, she reported, handing him one of the cups. Whatever's coming isn't bothering to mask its approach. Goku nodded, accepting the drink without shifting his gaze from the heavens. His senses, far more acute than any human technology, detected the approaching power signatures days before Capsule Corp's instruments registered the anomaly. 3 distinct energy patterns, 2 Saiyan, 1 unknown. Vespa confirmed the Saiyans would be Prince Vegeta and his commander. Nappa, Bulma said, joining him at the roof's edge. No insights on the third signature. None. But its structure feels wrong somehow. Distorted. The week's foe. Lowing the tournament had transformed Capsule Corporation into an impromptu command center for what Bulma termed extraterrestrial contingency planning. Dr. Briefs had leveraged decades of corporate influence to shield Goku from government containment efforts, designating him an official consultant on previously undisclosed cosmic threats. The arrangement maintained his freedom while providing legal framework for his continued presence on Earth. Vespa had remained as well, her initial mission to recruit Goku evolving into a more complex diplomatic assignment as she reassessed both her understanding of Saiyan potential and the capabilities of Earth's defenders. Her ship, concealed in the mountains, maintained communication with Prince Vegeta's approaching vessel, though she shared only selected information with her royal commander. They'll be within Earth's atmosphere by tomorrow morning, Goku noted, finally turning to face Bulma. We should finalize preparations tonight. She nodded, brushing blue hair from her face as evening wind picked up around them. The others are waiting in the conference room, including our unexpected volunteer. Goku's expression shifted slightly. At the reference, a subtle tension around his eyes that most humans would miss but that Bulma had learned to recognize over years of friendship. The unexpected volunteer had appeared 3 days after the tournament, presenting herself at Capsule Corporation's security gate with information about both the approaching Saiyan vessel and a separate threat following close behind. Together, they descended from the roof to the secure underground levels where Bulma's father had expanded research facilities following their discovery of alien outposts years earlier. The conference room they entered bore little resemblance to corporate meeting spaces, its walls lined with advanced monitoring equipment, holographic displays showing orbital trajectories, and weapons prototypes developed from reverse-engineered alien technology. 5 women awaited them, each representing a distinct facet of the complex situation unfolding around Goku's existence. Chi-Chi stood reviewing tactical simulations on a side monitor, her tournament fighting attire replaced by a modernized combat uniform that balanced traditional martial arts design with practical functionality. Since the tournament, she had volunteered both her exceptional combat skills and her family's extensive martial arts network as resources against potential threats. Vespa occupied a corner position that afforded clear sightlines to all entrances, her military training evident in her posture and situational awareness. Though still officially representing Prince Vegeta's interests, her interactions with Earth's defenders had visibly affected her perspective on Saiyan traditions and hierarchical structures. Launch sat nearby, currently in her gentle purple-haired form, organizing medical supplies with meticulous care. Her dual nature had proven unexpectedly valuable. Her aggressive persona possessed combat instincts rivaling trained warriors, while her gentler self demonstrated remarkable aptitude for support operations and strategic planning. The 4th woman, who had introduced herself simply as Zangya, leaned against the far wall with arms crossed. Her blue skin and orange hair marked her clearly as non-terrestrial, though she had made no attempt to disguise these features. As a Hera race hunter who had originally tracked the legendary Super Saiyan energy signature with the intention of claiming glory for its elimination, her decision to instead warn Earth's defenders of approaching danger remained somewhat mysterious. Most enigmatic was the tall, slender woman who stood examining star charts with apparent casual interest. Identifying herself as Vados, she claimed the role of cosmic observer, with unspecified authority. Her pale blue skin and elaborate staff suggested affiliation with celestial hierarchies mentioned in fragments of the alien outpost records, though she declined to confirm such connections directly. Our guest of honor arrives, Zangya commented as Goku entered, her tone blending sarcasm with something more complex. A reluctant respect developed during training sessions where she had witnessed his capabilities firsthand. Final orbital projections confirm morning arrival, Bulma announced, activating the central holographic display to show the approaching vessel's trajectory. They're making no attempt at stealth, which suggests confidence in their position or intentions. Prince Vegeta rarely concerns himself with subtlety, Vespa noted. Direct confrontation aligns with traditional Saiyan approaches to establishing dominance. Typical, Chi-Chi muttered, joining the group at the central table. All power, no strategy. Vespa bristled slightly at the implied criticism of Saiyan tactics, then relaxed with visible effort. Her evolving perspective remained a work in progress, old loyalties competing with new observations. The prince's approach is merely the opening move in a more complex game, Vados observed, her melodious voice carrying subtle authority that drew immediate attention. One that has been unfolding for millennia across multiple worlds. This cryptic statement hung in the air as Goku took his position at the table's head, the group naturally orienting to war. Him despite no formal leadership structure being established. The dynamic had emerged organically over recent weeks, each woman bringing unique skills and perspectives while acknowledging Goku's central role in the unfolding cosmic drama. Let's review what we know, he began, his voice carrying the calm certainty that had gradually replaced youthful impulsiveness as he embraced both his Saiyan heritage and his Earth upbringing. Prince Vegeta approaches with Commander Nappa and an unidentified third entity. Their stated purpose is to evaluate my potential as the legendary Super Saiyan and determine whether I should be integrated into their efforts to rebuild the Saiyan Empire. Integration or elimination, Zangya clarified, golden eyes narrowing. The prince doesn't tolerate potential rivals. I've tracked his activities across 3 sectors. He eliminates any warrior showing exceptional abilities that might challenge his authority. Vespa frowned but didn't contradict the assessment. Her own reports to Prince Vegeta had carefully omitted details of Goku's full capabilities, a decision that constituted treason under Saiyan military code but which she now defended as strategic information management. Secondary concern is the heron hunting party following approximately 36 hours behind Vegeta's ship, Goku continued. Their objective appears to be claiming the bounty on legendary Saiyan confirmation. My former squadron, Zangya confirmed. Once they detected the energy signature from your tournament display, the hunt was activated. The Hera race has ancient enmity. Why with the Saiyan bloodline, particularly the legendary transformation, which once decimated our forces during the Kaldar conflicts. Launch, who had been quietly listening, suddenly tensed as her La features hardened into the sharper angles of her aggressive persona. The transformation happened without the usual trigger of a sneeze, suggesting increasing integration between her dual aspects. Quote, so we're facing a royal power trip followed by revenge-obsessed bounty hunters, she summarized bluntly, blue hair replacing purple. While Earth governments panic about aliens suddenly being confirmed real. Perfect storm. Which makes our response strategy critical, Chi-Chi interjected, activating tactical displays with practiced precision. We've established 3 defensive perimeters based on projected landing coordinates. Inner containment utilizing capsule corp shielding technology, secondary response from specialized martial artists recruited through my father's network, and outer monitoring from redirected government resources. The comprehensive planning impressed even Vespa, whose initial dismissal of Earth's defensive capabilities had evolved into grudging respect. Effective use of limited resources, she acknowledged. Though conventional forces will be ineffective against elite Saiyan warriors. They're not meant to engage directly, Bulma explained. The perimeter EGY is about civilian protection and information control. The actual confrontation will be handled by those of us in this room. A confrontation that need not become conflict if approached correctly, Vados noted. Tapping her staff gently against the floor. The subtle gesture somehow commanded attention beyond its physical properties. Prince Vegeta seeks the legendary Super Saiyan for specific purposes dictated by incomplete understanding of ancient prophecies. Perhaps enlightenment rather than resistance would better serve all parties. Goku studied the celestial woman with heightened interest. Throughout their preparations, Vados had offered cryptic guidance that proved surprisingly accurate despite its ambiguous delivery. Her knowledge of cosmic matters exceeded even the fragments recovered from alien outposts, suggesting access to information sources beyond normal channels. You know something about the legendary Super Saiyan that you haven't shared, he stated rather than asked. Vados smiled enigmatically. I observe many things across many timelines. The convergence occurring now has appeared in numerous prophecies across diverse civilizations. The legendary Super Saiyan is not merely a Saiyan phenomenon but a cosmic constant. A balancing force that emerges when universal equilibrium requires adjustment. The revelation silenced even Launch's typically brash commentary. Zangya straightened from her casual posture, golden eyes widening with recognition. The Kaldar texts, the Hera warrior breathed. They speak of a golden warrior born of a warrior race but transcending its limitations. A being of destructive potential who chooses creation instead. Legends exist across many cultures, Vedos confirmed, each viewing the same cosmic truth through their cultural lens. The Saiyans interpreted it as a weapon of conquest, the Hera as an existential threat, others as a harbinger of transformation. Goku absorbed this information with the centered calm that had become his hallmark, integrating new perspectives without being destabilized by them. And which interpretation is correct? All and none, Vedos replied. The power you contain is neutral in essence but shaped by the vessel that carries it. Your unique circumstance, Saiyan genetics tempered by Earth upbringing, creates unprecedented potential for how this power might manifest. The philosophical implications might have generated extended debate under different circumstances, but practical concerns demanded priority. Chi-Chi redirected the conversation with characteristic focus. Fascinating cosmic theory, but we have an immediate tactical situation to address, she noted, highlighting the primary landing zone projection. How does this information change our approach to tomorrow's encounter? It suggests diplomacy before combat. Goku decided. If Vegeta's understanding of the legendary Super Saiyan is incomplete, perhaps correction rather than confrontation is the appropriate first step. Vespa looked skeptical. Prince Vegeta respects strength above all else. Philosophical discussions will hold little weight without demonstration of power to command his attention. Then we demonstrate appropriately, Goku replied, a hint of Saiyan confidence entering his tone. Not as challenge but as verification of the truth we wish him to understand. The discussion continued into technical details of encounter management, contingency planning, and optimal positioning of their limited resources. Throughout, Goku noticed the developing dynamics between the diverse women who had, through various circumstances, become his unlikely alliance. Bulma and Chi-Chi collaborated with complementary strengths, Bulma's technological genius enhancing Chi-Chi's tactical precision. Launch alternated between personas even without physical triggers, her dual nature increasingly integrated rather than divided, offering unique perspectives from both her aggressive and analytical aspects. Vespa and Zangya, despite representing traditionally opposed species, found common ground in warrior principles that transcended cultural differences. Most intriguing was Vedos, whose subtle guidance shaped discussions without direct intervention. Her cosmic perspective providing context that transformed how they viewed the entire situation. She caught Goku observing her and offered a knowing smile that suggested she understood more about his thoughts than he had articulated. As midnight approached, they finalized preparations for morning deployment. The women dispersed to their assigned quarters within the Capsule Corp complex, leaving Goku alone with Bulma in the conference room. Quite a group you've assembled, she commented, shutting down monitoring systems for the night. 5 exceptional women, connected to you through completely different circumstances. Goku nodded thoughtfully, each bringing something essential to understanding who and what I am. He hadn't articulated this pattern before, but Bulma's observation crystallized something he'd sensed intuitively. Bulma represented his connection to Earth science and human potential, her brilliant mind helping bridge his alien nature with his adopted world. Chi-Chi embodied discipline, tradition and honor-bound duty, qualities that resonated with both his Saiyan heritage and the teachings Gohan had instilled. Launch's dual nature mirrored his own internal duality, destructive potential balanced with compassionate purpose. Vespa connected him to his biological heritage and cultural origins, while Zangya provided perspective from civilizations that feared the very power he contained. And Vedos, her role remained enigmatic, yet she seemed to understand his cosmic purpose better than he did himself. They're all drawn to what you represent, Bulma continued, though each interprets it differently through their own perspective. Not unlike the prophecies Vedos mentioned, Goku noted. Same truth viewed through different cultural lenses. Bulma smiled at the philosophical parallel. Get some rest. Tomorrow we'll test everything we've prepared for. As Goku made his way to his assigned quarters, he passed the garden a tree. Where Vedos stood contemplating the night sky visible through the transparent dome. She acknowledged his presence without turning. The stars align in patterns meaningful only to those who understand cosmic rhythms, she observed. What seems random to mortal perspective reveals perfect design when viewed across millennial timescales. Like my birth with the markers of the legend? Goku asked, joining her beneath the starlit dome. Precisely. Vados turned, her ethereal beauty enhanced by starlight. Your emergence was not coincidence but cosmic necessity. A response to imbalance that has grown across multiple galactic sectors. Quote, what imbalance? Power divorced from wisdom. Strength without compassion. Technical advancement without ethical evolution. Vados gestured toward the stars with her staff. Civilizations rise and fall, but few transcend their foundational limitations. The Saiyans mastered physical power but remained enslaved to primitive dominance structures. The Hera Dev eloped elegant technologies while nurturing ancient grudges. Countless species advanced technologically while remaining spiritually stagnant. And this relates to the legendary Super Saiyan How. The transformation you carry is not merely physical but consciousness itself evolving. Vados spoke with sudden directness. When fully manifested, it represents the integration of opposing forces usual. Why considered irreconcilable? Destructive power with creative purpose, warrior instinct with compassionate wisdom, individual excellence with collective harmony. Goku absorbed this revelation silently, connecting it with his lifelong struggle to integrate his Saiyan nature with his Earth upbringing. What he had experienced as personal internal conflict was apparently connected to larger cosmic patterns. Prince Vegeta seeks the legendary power as a weapon, Vados continued. He cannot comprehend that its true purpose is transcendence beyond such limited applications. Your challenge tomorrow is not defeating him physically, though that may become necessary, but helping him glimpse the greater truth his cultural conditioning prevents him from seeing. And if he refuses to see it, Vados's expression turned solemn. Then cosmic balance will assert itself through less harmonious means. The universe requires correction of the imbalance one way or another. Your emergence offers the possibility of conscious evolution rather than catastrophic reset. With those cryptic words, she returned her attention to the stars, clearly concluding their conversation. Goku departed with new perspectives to integrate into his understanding of tomorrow's confrontation, and his own existence. Dawn broke clear and cold over the designated landing zone, a remote plateau selected for its distance from populate ion centers while remaining accessible for their response team. Goku stood at the site's center, Vespa beside him as official representative of Saiyan interests, with the others positioned strategically around the perimeter. Bulma monitored approach vectors from a specialized command vehicle equipped with both terrestrial and alien technology. Chi-Chi coordinated the martial artist response teams stationed at secondary perimeters. Launch, currently in her combat-ready blue-haired form, maintained sniper position with prototype weapons developed from alien schematics. Zangya concealed her Preza NCE completely, a Heron stealth technique that would provide surprise tactical advantage if needed. Vados alone remained visible beside her staff, positioned on an elevated rock formation overlooking He landing zone, present yet somehow apart from the unfolding events, an observer rather than participant. Final approach, Bulma's voice announced through communication devices. Atmospheric entry in 3 minutes. Goku centered himself, balancing the multiple aspects of his nature that would be required for the coming encounter. The disciplined martial artist trained by Earth's masters. The strategic thinker developed through years of complex challenges. The Saiyan warrior whose instincts recognized coming combat. And beneath these, the emerging cosmic consciousness that Vados had identified. D is the true nature of his legendary potential. Remember, he told Vespa quietly, diplomatic approach first. Combat only if necessary. She nodded, though tension radiated through her posture. Face C-ing her prince after what essentially constituted treason placed her in a precarious position regardless of outcome. The ship appeared first as a distant glint in the morning sky, rapidly resolving into distinct form as it decelerated toward their position. Unlike the utilitarian scout vessel Vespa had arrived in, this craft displayed distinctive design elements that Goku recognized from historical records. The royal insignia of the Saiyan monarchy emblazoned on its hull, accented with red markings that signified elite military designation. With surprising grace for its size, the ship settled on to the plateau in a controlled landing that raised minimal dust despite its mass. For several moments after touchdown, nothing happened. No hatches opened, no communication initiated. Power readings are fluctuating, Bulma reported. They're scanning us. Finally, a section of the hull reconfigured into a ramp that extended to the ground. 3 figures emerged, descending with the confidence of beings accustomed to intimidating lesser species through mere presence. Prince Vegeta matched historical records in general appearance, compact but powerfully built, with the distinctive flame-shaped hair of the royal bloodline. His battle armor bore insignia indicating supreme command, and his expression combined aristocratic disdain with calculating assessment. Despite his modest physical stature, his energy signature radiated extraordinary power carefully controlled beneath layers of discipline. Behind him towered Commander Nappa, a giant even by Saiyan standards, bald head gleaming in the morning sun. Mustache framing a perpetual smirk of anticipated violence. His energy pattern suggested raw power without Vegeta's refined control, a blunt instrument rather than precision tool. The third figure defied easy categorization. Humanoid in general form but with green-white mottled skin and biomechanical components integrated throughout its body. When it moved, the motion combined organic fluidity with mechanical precision. Most disturbing was its energy signature, fluctuating between distinct patterns as though multiple beings had been forcibly merged into a single entity. Vegeta surveyed the welcoming committee with narrowed eyes, gaze settling on Goku with focused intensity. "So, you are Kakarot." His voice carried the cultured accent of Saiyan aristocracy overlaid with the harder edge of military command. "Son of Bardock, last of the third-class lineage." Goku inclined his head slightly, neither a bow of submission nor a dismissal of the prince's status. "I am. Though on Earth, I'm known as Son Goku. Earth names are irrelevant," Vegeta dismissed. "You are Saiyan, regardless of where you've hidden all these years." His attention shifted to Vespa, expression hardening. "Your reports were incomplete, Scout Vespa. Deliberate omission of critical intelligence borders on treason." To her credit, Vespa maintained composure under her prince's scrutiny. "My mission parameters are, required comprehensive assessment before final reporting, my lord." The situation proved more complex than initially understood. Complexity. Vegeta snorted, a convenient excuse for divided loyalties. He returned his attention to Goku. "You've corrupted a loyal soldier with whatever primitive philosophy this backwater planet espouses. Not an auspicious beginning to our acquaintance. I suggested alternative perspectives," Goku corrected calmly. "Vespa's conclusions are her own." The subtle challenge in his tone drew a warning growl from Nappa, who stepped forward with aggressive intent only to be halted by Vegeta's raised hand. "You speak as an equal," the prince observed with dangerous softness. "Either suicidal arrogance or legitimate confidence. We shall determine which shortly." His gaze swept the perimeter, noting the positioned defenders. "You've gathered quite the collection of females. A primitive harem for the legendary warrior." The deliberate provocation fell flat against Goku's centered calm. "Allies with specialized skills relevant to this encounter. Their gender is coincidental, is it?" Vegeta's smirk suggested he believed otherwise. "The prophecies mention cession of worthy mates as one sign of the emergence. Power draws power, after all." He gestured toward the modeled figure beside him. "Allow me to introduce our associate. This is Amalgam, a unique creation of the Tuffle remnant scientists. Biomechanical perfection combining the genetic material of 12 warrior races with adaptive technology." "Created for what purpose?" Goku asked, though he suspected the answer. "Testing, of course." Vegeta's casual tone belied the implicit threat. "Evaluating your worthiness as the legendary warrior through combat assessment. If you are truly what the markers suggest, defeating Amalgam should prove trivial. If not," he shrugged, "then the prophecies remain unfulfilled, and we continue our search elsewhere." Goku recognized the manipulation attempt, forcing combat on Vegeta's terms, with conditions designed to either confirm or eliminate his potential threat to Saiyan hierarchical structures. Yet refusing would only lead to more dangerous confrontation as the prince's patience exhausted. "There are aspects of the legendary Super Saiyan prophecies you may not fully understand," Goku began, attempting the diplomatic approach they'd planned. "The transformation isn't merely, spare me Earth-contaminated interpretations," Vegeta interrupted dismissively. "The legendary warrior is the ultimate expression of Saiyan combat potential. Nothing more complex than that." From her elevated position, Vados sighed audibly, not from exertion but apparent disappointment at such limited perspective. The small gesture drew Vegeta's immediate attention. "Hi. eyes narrowing as he fully registered her presence for the first time. You. The prince's confident demeanor faltered momentarily. An angel. Here. Something like genuine alarm flashed across his features before control reasserted itself. This changes calculations significantly. Nappa looked confused. My lord, what is an angel? Cosmic observers and enforcers from the highest realms, Vegeta explained tersely. Their presence indicates matters of universal consequence. He returned his attention to Goku with new wariness. You've attracted celestial notice. Interesting. The conversion CE occurring here was prophesied across multiple dimensions, Vados stated, her melodious voice carrying effortlessly across the plateau. I observe on behalf of higher authorities interested in harmonious resolution. Which remains possible, Goku emphasized, seizing the opportunity created by Vegeta's momentary uncertainty. We need not resort to combat testing to establish truth. Vegeta's expression hardened once more. On the contrary, combat is the only reliable verification method for Saiyan potential. He gestured to Amalgam. Proceed with assessment level 1. The biomechanical creature moved with sudden fluidity, crossing the distance to Goku faster than human perception could track. Its attack technique blended multiple martial disciplines with mechanically enhanced precision. A perfect synthesis of diverse combat methodologies delivered with superhuman speed and strength. Goku shifted from diplomatic stance to combat readiness in the microsecond before impact, meeting the assault with controlled defensive technique that redirected force rather than opposing it directly. The exchange that followed appeared as blur of motion to most observers, though the positioned women tracked the combat with varying degrees of comprehension based on their individual capabilities. Impressive reaction speed, Vegeta commented, watching the exchange with clinical detachment. Basic Saiyan combat instinct remains intact despite your Earth contamination. Amalgam, proceed to assessment level 3. The creature's movements altered immediately, speed and power increasing as internal systems reconfigured for enhanced output. Its fighting style shifted simultaneously, abandoning predictable patterns for a chaotic assault methodology designed to overwhelm defensive anticipation. Goku adjusted accordingly, transitioning from pure defense to a more active counter strategy that identified and exploited microsecond vulnerabilities in the creature's attack sequences. Though still restraining his full capabilities, he demonstrated combat mastery beyond conventional parameters, a synthesis of Earth martial arts precision with Saiyan power and instinct. He's deliberately maintaining minimal energy output, Bulma reported through the communication network, showing technical mastery without revealing power levels. Smart approach, Chi-Chi concurred. Demonstrate competence without triggering escalation. Vegeta, however, showed increasing impatience with the controlled demonstration. Enough preliminary assessment. Amalgam, execute primary evaluation protocol. The biomechanical entity immediately disengaged, leaping backward to create distance before its physiology underwent visible transformation. Segments of its body reconfigured, revealing integrated weapons systems and energy projection capabilities. Most concerning was the fluctuation in its power signature, no longer bothering to disguise its true nature as its energy output doubled, then tripled in rapid sequence. That's no evaluation tool, Zhangya's voice warned through communications, her stealth position allowing closer observation. Its core configuration matches Tuffle planet killer designs. This is an assassination attempt disguised as testing. The revelation confirmed Goku's suspicions about Vegeta's true intentions. The prince hadn't come to recruit a powerful ally but to eliminate a potent IAL rival, a legitimate challenger to his vision of Saiyan restoration under his absolute rule. As Amalgam's transformation completed, it generated an energy field that expanded outward, creating a containment dome over the combat area. The barrier separated Goku from his positioned allies while preventing escape or external intervention. Fascinating tactical choice, Vados commented from her observation point, seemingly unbothered by the developing situation, though perhaps predictable given limited perspective. Within the containment field, Amalgam launched its true assault, not mere combat testing but a coordinated attempt to overwhelm and destroy. Energy blasts complemented physical attacks, the creature's hybrid nature allowing simultaneous offensive methodologies impossible for conventional opponents. Goku shifted strategy accordingly. No longer concerned with concealing capabilities, he began demonstrating the full range of his developed techniques, energy manipulation that neutralized incoming attacks. Physical movements that exploited dimensional properties beyond normal combat parameters, tactical adaptations that anticipated and countered multiple simultaneous threats. Outside the barrier, Vegeta watched with increasing intensity, his composed facade gradually revealing the tension beneath. Impossible, he muttered as Goku neutralized particularly complex attack sequences. No third-class Saiyan should possess such technical mastery. Earth's martial arts traditions emphasize efficiency and precision over raw power, Vespa explained, seeing opportunity to influence her prince's understanding. Kakarot has integrated these principles with his Saiyan capabilities, creating a synthesis beyond conventional limitations. Irrelevant, Vegeta snapped, though his expression suggested otherwise. Technique without sufficient power remains merely interesting rather than transformative. Amalgam, final assessment protocol authorized. The creature responded immediately, central chest cavity opening to reveal a pulsing core of concentrated energy. Its power signature destabilized completely as safeguards disengaged, allowing unrestricted access to its full destructive potential. Warning. Bulma's urgent voice came through communications. Energy readings indicate potential 50-kilometer destruction radius if fully discharged. This isn't combat, it's a planetary threat event. Inside the containment field, Goku recognized the escalation for what it represented, Vegeta forcing a situation where full power manifestation became necessary for survival. The prince was determined to either confirm or eliminate the legendary potential, regardless of collateral damage. The moment of decision arrived as Amalgam channeled its accumulated energy into a singular devastating attack, a concentrated beam of destructive force that would overwhelm conventional defenses through sheer magnitude. The energy projection accelerated toward Goku with irreversible momentum, its power sufficient to obliterate mountains. Time seemed to slow as Goku centered himself completely, integration of his multiple aspects achieving perfect harmony. The disciplined martial artist recognized the technical parameters of the attack. The strategic thinker calculated optimal response vectors. The Saiyan warrior acknowledged the worthy challenge presented. And beneath these, the emerging cosmic consciousness that Vados had identified expanded into previously unrealized potential. The transformation began at his core, not merely physical but a fundamental shift in how energy moved through his being. Golden light erupted from within, manifesting first as an aura before permeating his entire physical form. His black hair shifted upward, color transmuting completely to brilliant gold that radiated light beyond conventional spectrum. Eyes transformed from dark to vibrant emerald, perceiving reality through expanded awareness that encompassed energy patterns, probability fields, and dimensional interfaces simultaneously. Unlike previous partial manifestations, this transformation achieved perfect integration, controlled yet complete, powerful yet precise. The legendary Super Saiyan emerged not as berserker force of destruction but as consciously directed transcendence. With a single focused movement, Goku extended his hand toward the incoming energy beam. Instead of attempting to block or deflect the attack, he created a localized dimensional interface that absorbed and redirected its destructive potential, not merely neutralizing the threat but transforming its nature completely. The golden aura surrounding him intensified, expanded, then stabilized at a consistent radius that disrupted the containment field's integrity. Cracks appeared in the energy barrier before it shattered completely, fragments dissolving into harmless particles that dispersed across the plateau. Silence fell as Goku stood transformed, golden hair rising in defiance of gravity, emerald eyes radiating calm certainty. Aura pulsing with power that simultaneously inspired awe and reassurance rather than fear. Amalgam remained frozen in attack position, systems apparently overloaded by witnessing the transformation its creators had designed it to prevent. Vegeta stared with undisguised shock that gradually transformed into complex emotion beyond simple categorization, disbelief, validation, envy, and reluctant recognition converging in his aristocratic features. The prophecy fulfilled, he finally stated, voice uncharacteristically subdued. The legendary Super Saiyan manifests. Goku maintained his transformed state effortlessly, the previous volatility of his power now replaced with perfect equilibrium. When he spoke, his voice carried harmonics that resonated beyond audible range. Not as the legends described, he corrected, not mindless destruction or unstoppable conquest. Something else entirely. Transcendent evolution, Vados supplied, descending from her observation point to join the tableau. The integration of opposing forces into harmonious wholeness, what countless civilizations have sought through millennia of spiritual and technological development, man. I fested through conscious transformation. Nappa looked bewildered by these philosophical dimensions, his warrior perspective unable to process implications beyond combat applications. My lord, his power level. It's beyond anything our scouters could measure. With this strength leading our forces, the Saiyan Empire could. Be silent, Vegeta commanded sharply, his calculating mind rapidly reassessing fundamental assumptions. To Goku, he asked, if not conquest, then what purpose does such power serve? Balance, Goku replied simply. Protection rather than domination, evolution rather than destruction. The power doesn't exist to subjugate others but to elevate consciousness itself. Vegeta's expression suggested skepticism, yet he made no immediate challenge, evidence of the transforma. Tion's profound impact on even his arrogant certainty. Before further discussion could develop, multiple alarms sounded from the communication systems. Proximity alert, Bulma reported urgently. The heron hunting party has arrived significantly ahead of projected timeline. Attack formation, approaching from multiple vectors. They detected the transformation energy signature, Zhangya confirmed. Materializing from her stealth position. Standard hunting protocol. Accelerate timeline when target reveals location through power manifestation. True to her assessment, the sky above them darkened. As multiple craft entered atmosphere in combat descent patterns. Unlike Vegeta's ceremonial approach, these vessels oriented directly for attack positioning, weapons systems activating before they reached optimal altitude. Hera-class battle cruisers, Zhangya identified. Minimum 6 vessels, likely carrying elite hunting squads. They're here for the bounty on confirmed legendary Saiyan energy signature. The approaching threat created unexpected alignment of interests. Vegeta assessed the situation with military precision, combat priorities temporarily overriding philosophical disagreements. He's heron insects dare interrupt Saiyan business. He snarled, power level rising as battle readiness engaged. Nappa, prepare for engagement. Wait, Goku intervened, maintain transformed state while shifting focus to the new threat. Unnecessary casualties serve no purpose. Allow me to address this directly. Without waiting for response, he elevated from the ground, golden aura intensifying. As he ascended toward the approaching vessels, the Heron ships immediately concentrated weapons targeting on his position, energy weapons charging for coordinated barrage. Is he insane? Nappa demanded. Even the legendary transformation can't withstand concentrated fire from multiple battle cruisers. Perhaps not the transformation as you understand it, Vados commented with enigmatic smile. What you witness is not merely enhanced Saiyan capability but consciousness utilizing new dimensional properties. Above them, the Heron vessels opened fire simultaneously, concentrated energy beams. Converging on Goku's position with enough combined force to level a small city. The golden figure made no attempt to evade, instead extending both hands outward as the deadly energy approached. What followed defied conventional understanding of energy physics. Rather than being destroyed, damaged, or even defending against the attack, Goku appeared to harmonize with the incoming destruction, his aura expanding to encompass the energy beams, their destructive potential seemingly absorbed and transmuted through process beyond visual comprehension. For several seconds, golden light engulfed the entire engagement zone. When it receded, the Heron vessels remained intact but completely powered down, floating harmlessly in atmosphere, weapons systems disabled, engines offline. Goku returned to the plateau. Transformation maintained but energy output modulated to non-threatening levels. They're unharmed but incapacitated, he explained to the astonished observers. Their ships will regain malfunction for controlled descent after we've resolved our discussion. Vegeta stared at the neutralized threat, then at the transformed Saiyan before him, calculation evident in his expression. CH power could indeed restore Saiyan dominance across the galaxy. You must return with us, take your rightful place in the vanguard of our resurgence. Despite witnessing the transformation's true nature, the prince remained fixated on conquest, unable to transcend the cultural programming that defined his understanding of power's purpose. Goku recognized the limitation with compassion rather than judgment. There are better paths forward than conquest, he replied gently. For yourself and our surviving people. The Saiyan capacity for growth extends beyond battlefield dominance, something I've discovered through integration with Earth culture rather than rejection of it. Weakness, Nappa declared dismissively. Contamination of pure Saiyan warrior spirit with primitive sentimentality. It weakness to expand rather than limit potential. Goku challenged. The transformation you've witnessed isn't regression to primitive destroyer but evolution towards something greater. Throughout this exchange, the women who had supported Goku's development observed with varying reactions. Bulma's scientific fascination, Chi-Chi's tactical assessment, Launch's appreciative admiration, Zhengya's cultural re-evaluation, and Vespa's conflicted loyalty. Each represented a facet of understanding that had contributed to his integrated transformation. Most significant was Veto's, whose subtle smile suggested events unfolding precisely as cosmic design intended. Prince Vegeta, Goku continued, your vision for Saiyan restoration need not conflict with greater universal harmony. There's a place for Saiyan strength, courage, and determination without domination or destruction. Pretty philosophy, Vegeta sneered, though uncertainty flickered beneath his defiance. But reality operates by harsher principles. Power determines destiny. Quote, then observe what truly powerful destiny looks like, Veto's interjected, stepping forward with sudden authority that commanded attention from all present. Hat manifests here isn't merely individual transformation but cosmic correction, the emergence of balancing force predicted by prophets across thousands of worlds. With elegant gesture, she raised her staff, its crystalline head illuminating with inner light that expanded outward in concentric circles. Within this illumination appeared images of distant worlds, diverse species, and ancient texts depicting variations of the golden transformation they now witnessed, evidence of universal recognition spanning civilizations with no direct contact. The legendary Super Saiyan appears not to conquer but to transform, Veto's continued. Images shifting to show historical moments of similar manifestations across cosmic history. When imbalance grows too extreme, conscious evolution provides alternative to catastrophic reset. What Kakarot represents isn't Saiyan dominance but potential transcendence for all who choose higher understanding over limited perspective. The display concluded with image of multiple paths extending from present moment, one dark with conflict and destruction, others bright with collaborative potential and evolutionary development. The visual metaphor required no additional explanation. In the silence that followed, Vegeta's internal conflict played visibly across his features, ambition warring with emerging comprehension, cultural conditioning struggling against new perspective. His response would determine immediate course of events and longer evolutionary trajectory. Supposing, he finally began, voice carefully controlled, that your interpretation has merit. What exactly are you proposing? That Saiyans abandon our warrior nature entirely. Become philosophers and peacekeepers. The suggestion carried disdain despite his apparent willingness to engage the concept. Integration rather than abandonment, Goku clarified. The courage, strength, discipline, and determination that define Saiyan culture remain valuable, redirected toward protection rather than conquest. Elevation rather than subjugation. And this transformation, Vegeta gestured toward Goku's golden form, would be accessible to others following this integrated path. The quest. Ion revealed the prince's underlying motivation, not merely empire building but personal evolution, desire to access legendary transformation himself. Veto's answered before Goku could respond. The TRANS formation manifests according to cosmic necessity, she explained. Kakarot's unique circumstances made him suitable vessel for this emergence. Others may achieve similar evolution through their own authentic development, not through imitation or shortcut. Convenient explanation, Vegeta observed dryly. Though difficult to disprove, a sudden mechanical shudder drew their attention back to Amalgam, whose systems had begun reactivating after temporary overload. The biomechanical construct's movements suggested damaged operational capacity but persistent threat potential as its weapons systems attempted recalibration. Cease function, Vegeta commanded. Assessment concluded. Instead of complying, Amalgam's eyes glowed with independent purpose. Primary protocol overrides command structure, it stated in synthetic voice. Legendary Super Saiyan confirmed. Elimination directive activated. The creature's chest cavity reopened, revealing its energy core now pulsing with unstable RNS that indicated imminent catastrophic discharge. Its programming had shifted from controlled assessment to suicide attack, final desperate attempt to eliminate the legendary transformation even at cost of its own existence. It's going critical, Bulma warned through communications. Destruction radius now estimated at 200 kilometers minimum. The failsafe protocols have inverted into maximum damage configuration. Get back, Vegeta ordered, recognizing the danger immediately. It's become a living bomb. As others retreated, Goku moved forward instead, golden aura intensifying as he approached the destabilizing construct. Evacuation unnecessary, he stated with calm certainty. This threat can be contained. Reaching the malfunctioning amalgam, he placed both hands directly on its exposed energy core, action that should have triggered immediate detonation. Instead, golden energy flowed from his transformed state into the unstable matrix, creating visible harmonic patterns that gradually synchronized the chaotic fluctuations. He's not just containing it, Bulma realized, monitoring energy readings with specialized equipment. He's transforming its fundamental structure at the quantum level. The process completed with soft pulse of light that expanded outward before contracting back into the construct's core. Amalgam's biomechanical body slumped forward as its energy signature stabilized into harmonious pattern completely unlike its previous configuration. When its eyes reopened, the synthetic malice had been replaced by something resembling awakened consciousness. Reconfiguration complete, it stated, voice altered to more natural cadence. Primary directives realigned. What did you do? Vegeta demanded, approaching cautiously. Applied the same principles that govern the transformation. Goku explained, maintaining contact with the construct. Destructive potential redirected toward constructive application. Integration rather than opposition. The demonstration provided concrete example of the philosophical principles previously discussed. Direct application of transformative potential beyond combat application. Even Vegeta's skepticism faltered against such tangible evidence. Fascinating theoretical demonstration, he conceded grudgingly. Though practical application across broader context remains questionable. Perhaps observation, over time will provide necessary validation, Vados suggested. Cosmic developments rarely conform to convenient timelines. Their philosophical discussion paused as the incapacitated Heron vessels began controlled descent toward the plateau, minimal systems restored as Goku had indicated. The situation demanded immediate practical decisions rather than extended conceptual debate. The hunters will not abandon their pursuit merely because of one defeat, Zangya warned. Heron cultural obsession with the legendary transformation extends beyond rational assessment. Nor will all Saiyan survivors immediately embrace philosophical redirection, Vespa added, addressing her prince directly. Evolution of perspective requires time and demonstration. Vegeta assessed the complex situation with unexpected pragmatism. A strategic withdrawal seems appropriate while implications are evaluated. To Goku, he added, this discussion is not concluded, merely paused. The future of Saiyan restoration remains to be determined. I welcome continued dialogue, Goku agreed, beginning controlled power down from his transformed state. Golden hair gradually returned to natural black, emerald eyes darkening to their normal color. Aura receding though not disappearing completely. Even in base form, subtle golden energy occasionally shimmered beneath his skin, evidence that the transformation had permanently altered his baseline state. As the Heron vessels landed and Vegeta's party prepared to depart, Bulma's monitoring equipment detected new anomaly at edge of atmosphere. Unknown energy signature, she reported. Massive scale, completely foreign configuration. Vados nodded as though expecting this development. The convergence attracts notice across dimensional boundaries. What approaches now represents the greater cosmic context within which today's demonstrations exist. Above them, atmosphere rippled as something massive distorted local space-time parameters, not physical craft but manifestation of energy construct that defied conventional categorization. Its presence registered simultaneously across multiple perceptual frameworks, visible yet intangible, enormously powerful yet precisely controlled. The celestial arbiters, Vados identified. Cosmic entities who monitor transformative events across dimensional interfaces. Your emergence has drawn their attention. The E-station stabilized into complex geometric configuration that pulsed with colors beyond standard visual spectrum. Though it produced no conventional sound, its presence generated conceptual communicat. Ion perceived differently by each observer according to their framework of understanding. For Goku, the communication arrived as crystallized knowledge, sudden comprehension that his transformation represented first manifestation among many potential emergences across diverse species and civilizations. The legendary Super Saiyan was merely one expression of universal evolutionary potential access through different paths appropriate to different beings. For Vegeta, the communication appeared as strategic revelation, understanding that Saiyan restoration through conquest represented regression rather than advancement, while integration of their natural strengths within cooperative framework offered superior evolutionary trajectory. Each observer received personalized insight relevant to their development path and cosmic purpose, information simultaneously overwhelming and perfectly comprehensible within their individual capacity. As abruptly as it appeared, the manifestation receded, leaving subtly altered reality in its wake. Knowledge remained but intensity faded to manageable levels as normal perception reasserted. Well, Launch commented into stunned silence, blue hair rippling. In breeze left by the entity's departure. That was definitely not covered in the planning session. Her wry observation broke tension, allowing everyone to integrate their individual experiences of the cosmic contact. Goku turned to Vados with questioning expression. You knew this would happen, he stated rather than asked. I anticipated possibility, she acknowledged. Cosmic convergence of T. His magnitude rarely occurs without notice from higher dimensional observers. Their appearance confirms the significance of what has manifested here today. Vegeta, visibly shaken despite attempts to maintain royal composure, squared his shoulders with decision. We depart to consider implications. This changes calculations significantly. To Goku, he added with unprecedented respect, Kakarot. Our paths will cross again when proper assessment of these developments is complete. I'll be here, Goku replied simply. As Vegeta's group boarded their vessel and the Heron Hunters were contained. Through combination of diplomatic negotiation, led by Zangya, and technological constraints, implemented by Bulma, Goku found himself center of a different kind of convergence. The women who had supported his development gathered around him, each bringing unique perspective to the extraordinary events they'd witnessed. The energy transformation you performed was theoretically impossible, Bulma noted with scientific excitement. Converting destructive potential to constructive application without energy loss defies known physics. Your control was impeccable, Chi-Chi added with professional assessment. Perfect integration of power and technique without sacrificing either. You looked pretty badass, Launch contributed with characteristic directness. Golden Light show aside, the way you handled multiple threats simultaneously showed serious strategic thinking. The transformation differs significantly from historical accounts, Zangya observed thoughtfully. Our records described mindless berserker force, not conscious directed transcendence. Your development path continues to defy conventional Saiyan understanding, Vespa acknowledged, her own perspective visibly evolved from their first encounter. Vados observed this interaction with subtle satisfaction. The convergence extends beyond power manifestation to relationship patterns. Each perspective contributes S&T-Al element to integrated understanding, scientific, disciplined, instinctual, historical, cultural, and cosmic awareness combining to support balanced development. As spacecraft departed and cleanup operations commenced, Goku contemplated the extraordinary convergence of circumstances, beings, and potentials that had shaped his existence. From traumatic beginning as refugee from destroyed world to his current position at intersection of cosmic forces, his journey represented ongoing integration rather than destination reached. What happens next? He asked Vados as others coordinated post-event operations. Evolution continues, she replied simply. The transformation you've manifested represents beginning rather than conclusion. Other awakening potentials will emerge across diverse species. As cosmic balance adjusts to new evolutionary trajectory. And my role in this larger pattern. Demonstration and protection, Vados explained. Your existence proves integration of seemingly opposite forces, destructive power with creative purpose, warrior strength with compassionate wisdom, individual excellence with collective harmony. As others awaken to similar potential, guidance and protection during transitional vulnerability become essential. The implications extended far beyond personal development or even planetary concerns, a cosmic role that would require ongoing growth and adaptation. Yet Goku felt prepared for this expanded purpose precisely because of the unique developmental path he'd experienced: Saiyan genetics tempered by Earth upbringing, martial discipline balanced with emotional connection, individual potential enhanced through meaningful relationships. As evening approached, the plateau returned to relative normality. Extraordinary events concluded, but their implications reverberating outward across multiple dimensions. The small group that remained represented microcosm of the larger integration Goku had achieved, diverse perspectives united in common purpose despite individual differences. Bulma approached with final monitoring report. Energy patterns have stabilized across all measured parameters. Whatever cosmic disruption occurred seems to have resolved into new equilibrium state. For now, Vados qualified. Evolution proceeds through cycles of stability and transformation. Today's resolution creates foundation for future development rather than permanent conclusion. As stars emerged in darkening sky, Goku gazed upward with expanded awareness that perceived both physical celestial bodies and the cosmic patterns they represented. His journey from displaced Saiyan infant to integrated legendary warrior had followed path none could have predicted, yet somehow fulfilled design woven through reality itself. "Not what I expected when I entered that tournament," he commented with characteristic understatement. "Destiny rarely announces itself in advance," Chi-Chi observed, joining him beneath the emerging stars. "Though in retrospect, the path often appears strangely inevitable." "Nothing about today was inevitable," Bulma countered, scientific perspective asserting itself. Multiple decision points could have led to drastically different outcomes. Yet consciousness navigated those decision points toward optimal development, Vados noted. Perhaps that represents true nature of destiny, not predetermined outcome but navigational tendency toward highest evolutionary potential. Launch, switching spontaneously to her gentle persona, offered simpler perspective. Sometimes the right people find each other at the right time. The rest works itself out naturally. This uncomplicated wisdom drew appreciative smiles from the group, complex cosmic principles distilled to essential human understanding. Goku found particular resonance in her observation, recognizing how each relationship had contributed necessary element to his integrated development. As night deepened, they gathered around fire kindled through precisely control energy technique, Goku demonstrating practical application of his enhanced abilities. The conversation turned from cosmic implications to immediate practicalities: government relations, public understanding of confirmed extraterrestrial presence, ongoing monitoring of potential threats, and development of Earth's defensive capabilities. Throughout discussion, Goku noticed subtle interactions between the women: Bulma's technological proposals enhancing Chi-Chi's tactical assessments, Launch's alternating perspectives providing both intuitive and analytical insights, Zhangya's extraterrestrial knowledge complementing Vespa's Saiyan cultural context, Vados occasionally offering cosmic perspective that transformed understanding of specific issues. Each contributed essential element to comprehensive approach, unified purpose expressed through diverse methods rather than homogeneous consensus. The pattern reflected larger cosmic principle Vados had described: integration without elimination of valuable differences. As conversation concluded and they prepared to return to Capsule Corporation facilities, Goku experienced moment of perfect clarity, understanding his unique position at intersection of multiple worlds, perspectives, and evolutionary potentials. The legendary Super Saiyan transformation wasn't merely physical power but conscious integration of seemingly opposing forces into harmonious wholeness. Earth remains your primary responsibility, Vados noted as they departed the plateau. Though your awareness now extends beyond planetary concerns. Balance between cosmic purpose and immediate connection. Goku acknowledged. Another integration to maintain. The celestial woman smiled approval. You understand more completely than most who achieve transformative awareness. Perhaps that explains why you were selected as initial vessel for this particular evolutionary emergence. As their transport lifted toward distant city lights, Goku contemplated the extraordinary journey from displaced alien child to Earth's primary defender and cosmic evolutionary catalyst. The dual heritage that once created internal conflict had become his greatest strength, allowing perspective beyond single cultural framework. Development unconstrained by rigid tradition, and connections across conventional boundaries. The legendary Super Saiyan had emerged not as weapon of conquest or mindless destroyer, but as conscious bridge between worlds, traditions, and evolutionary potentials. Whatever challenges approached, whether extraterrestrial threats, cosmic disruptions, or continued personal development, he would face them with integrated strength formed through unique convergence of circumstances, relationships, and conscious choice. Golden energy flickered briefly beneath his skin, as distant stars reflected in dark eyes that had glimpsed universal patterns beyond ordinary perception. The legendary transformation had manifested, but the more significant evolution continued with each conscious integration of opposing forces into harmonious wholeness, a process without conclusion but with unlimited potential for ongoing development across multiple dimensions of existence. The journey continued, not as predetermined destiny but as conscious navigation toward highest evolutionary potential, for himself, his adopted planet, and the cosmic balance he now recognized as his ultimate responsibility. ___. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.